I've been riding on a daydream. All right, Heidi's home. I got the lawn mowed today, and Heidi did nothing at work all day. I didn't want to. It's against my religion. I can only weed eat so much. Hang on. You're leaving me behind. Look at me. Oh, this would be us in the villages. We need to work on getting to the villages. We need to go back to the burn.
I need to be like 10 years older. I am not moving in when I'm 55 years old.
Oh, that's the perfect age.
No, it's not.
Okay, you can move in
Where
now.
am I going?
Back to the fire so I can throw this stuff in there.
Okay.
While it's still hot.
Did you get the gas bill?
No.
Because I paid it already.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
You should have waited until we could have got all those railroad ties or whatever they're called. Landscape ties.
Oh, yeah. Well.
Yeah, wasted.
This is for one prescription.
Oh my gosh. That you should be able to opt out on that because you already got one.
It's ridiculous.
Unless something changed on it or something. Uh-oh.
I gotta stir it up anyways. That's all I've got there.
So I think that's a perfect spot for...
Not with the new fence.
Well, yeah. Which I didn't know. Hey, I think for the last 30 seconds I didn't have you in the screen.
Okay. They know what I look like.
I was recording the deer in the backyard the last time they were here, and then I looked at my phone because I was talking to Lincoln. I was recording the ground, which would be typical. What happened to all that, the trees and stuff you cut down? Oh, it's in there.
Yeah.
I never really looked at that.
The fire's hot. I'm gonna burn your bowl.
I know. Are you putting that back in the shed? Or is it going in the garage?
It goes in the garage. Oh my God. Okay, onward, James.
Hold on.
Oh my. Oh my. Hold me down.
Michael says it's slow, but it's pretty quick.
It does okay. But it is slow. It ain't spinning tires and doing donuts, so it's slow.
I don't need that for that.
Yeah. What are we doing over here?
Picking beans and
Our air conditioner's quiet on our RV. Here, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. You don't have to step over the fence. You just tear it down. So Heidi's not mic'd up. So let me tell you what happened. You think with this new technology, people would get this crap straight. Nothing like spending $540 on a freaking camera. And then, and how many times have I said that?
Is this?
Yeah. So I got so many cameras. But anyways, so I spend all this money on this camera because it does the best job. And we think this will be our primary shooter, which it has been. Every once in a while I go to my phone, but this camera has a special feature that it's got Bluetooth, the ability to connect to a Bluetooth speaker. So the company that makes the Bluetooth speaker, that makes the camera, you can do it to where one person can connect with the Bluetooth speaker. And I thought, well, that's only good for one person shooter. You know, if one person's, needing to talk on the microphone, I understand. There's a good reason for that. Then I seen that they have a feature on this camera that says dual track audio. And what it does is it stores audio on the camera that the camera captures through its microphone. At the same time, it's capturing whatever audio comes through the Bluetooth speaker. So perfect. It's a good solution. It's Heidi wears the microphone and I'm carrying the camera. That way it captures both our audio. Well, that'd be in a perfect world and if everything worked. What happened was there was such an echo, I could not even use the audio. It didn't work, and there's no way to control it and fix it. So Heidi's going back to not being mic'd until I start carrying our other microphones with us. And yeah, we can do it then. Which Heidi will just have to speak up, won't you? Yeah.
I'm picking all the beans because I'm like...
Done.
I'm done. I'm done for the year.
You're getting dirt in your bow. Well, not really. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and have you guys watch Heidi pick the beans because she's going to be out here for a little while. And quite honestly, I want to eat my ice cubes, and that's all you would hear. Me shaking this cup and eating the ice cubes.
And it's annoying, people.
No, I don't know why she says that. She acts as if I eat all of my ice all the time for the past 35 years.
Oh my gosh.
And that's all.
Someday, probably for a lot of years, it didn't bother me.
But now we've been married long enough, we start bothering each other on stuff. Are you breathing heavy again? You're snoring.
Yeah. And he acts like I snore more than him.
Oh, she snores pretty good. Not necessarily. Yeah, I just catch her.
I think we both have our times.
Yeah, there's times that she doesn't. She's so quiet that I got to reach over and see if she's still breathing because I can't even tell. And I think I might do the same thing. But,
yeah.
But most of the time, I don't know. Last night was wild because it was the first night back on Brooklyn bedding, back on our regular good mattress. And I laid down in bed. Heidi, she falls asleep right away. I was yawning multiple times before it was time for me to go to bed, which is that's not a thing with me. I don't normally yawn a bunch and then have to go to bed. Heidi does. When she gets tired.
I'm happy when I'm yawning. That means I'm going to go to sleep.
Right. But for me, I don't normally do that. Yet, I started yawning before, out in the living room. I got in the bedroom. I got comfortable. And I very rarely do this. Hardly ever. And Heidi wakes me up and says, "Hey, can you turn off the TV?" And I'm like, "What? When did I fall asleep?" And I was not only holding the remote, the TV was on, but I had my glasses on and I was laying on my side. Well, I don't watch TV laying on my side. I fell asleep and I slept so long with the TV on that I rolled over, but I was still holding on that remote and I had my glasses on. So anyways, so I got really good sleep, had a great dream. It was about a bad situation, but it was a really good story. Some of these things I wish they'd make movies. So here it was, this guy who was me and this girl that was Heidi, and then there was some younger people involved, and then there was some banditos. I don't know. They were some people, maybe like guerrillas or something that, missionary, or I should say, mission fighters or rebels or something. And I remember that they came to us because we were in their group and we all kind of got along with each other. It was one of those things that nobody said what they did and we didn't care, and we all kind of was just traveling together. And the guy said, hey, here's your cut of the money. And they were handing us like $10,000 each. And Heidi says, don't take that money. Give it back. And I said, we could use this money. And she goes, nope, put that money back. Because once we take that money, we're no better than they are. And I'm like, okay, but if we give them back the money, then they're not going to trust us and think that we're going to turn them in. And that's exactly what happened. There was this, and then the people that were coming to fight us, they were concerned, about the people that we were with were concerned that we called them in somehow. And here those people were trying to shoot us just as much as the people that we were with were trying to shoot us. But it was a good story. I wish it was a movie, because I could go into pretty good detail, and you might be more interested in it than what I'm saying. But anyways.
Talking about bad people. It really, weighed on my mind. Obviously, I'm getting older. I'm still a Spitfire, but it really bothers me that people are shooting people. And say a little prayer for the people at the O'Reilly store in Albuquerque, New Mexico, because two of their employees got shot and killed over freaking oil. People are so hateful today, and it's just, we gotta be better humans. It's just sad that people lose their life over something that the guy thought he was entitled. And obviously I don't know the whole story, but I missed a green bean. I'm gonna go get it.
Here's a green bean for you. You want to get this one? Look it. It's right there. Do you see it?
Looks like a spider.
No, can you see him?
No. What is it?
It's a praying mantis. You can't see that.
Oh, I see it now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he flew there when we were talking earlier.
But
it's anyway, a big one. He's a big one, too.
We gotta be better humans.
Oh,
anyway.
It happens.
Yeah.
Happens everywhere.
I know, but if you look up, it happens to O'Reilly's a lot.
I'll tell you, this is no, I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for the person that's got a uniform on. And she doesn't necessarily have the same views as me. This is my views. I believe if somebody comes in the store and they try to steal from the store, that the employees should do what they need to do to make that person not leave the store with stuff, if they think they can do it safe enough. And the reason I say that is because when I worked for an auto parts store, there was the auto parts store that I worked for, I'm not going to say who it was, they hired a lot of Army veterans of armed services. And we had myself and another guy that was ex-Army, and then we had another guy that was an ex-rodeo bull rider, and then we had another dude that was, I don't know, I think he did a lot of drugs, but he was healthy. We were all healthy young men. And I remember them telling us, under no circumstance whatsoever are we to try to get that person and not allow them to, and all of us are just shaking our heads like, okay. And then when they left, we all had our own meeting and said, the hell of that. If we get fired, we get fired, but you can't have these people walking in just taking stuff.
A couple of veterans that obviously tried to take care of some thieves, and obviously they got fired. Then I was reading an article that on a military guy that tried to, you know, take down I don't know the whole story, I don't remember what it was, on a thief, robbery or whatever, and he got fired. They said because he was rude with the customer or whatever. So anyway, fast forward however long, he came to the store. Came to the store to visit with the guys, because obviously he worked there for a while. And him and 2 other guys got robbed at gunpoint. They stole their wallets, and the same thing that he got fired for, he got killed that next time.
That's why you pack.
Yeah, well, you know that.
Well, you should just have employees hang out. I can come up and hang out all day with you. They can't do nothing about me sitting in there packing. So the dog's barking still. It's been barking for about an hour.
Shut up, and I think it barked more now.
Yeah. Look at these carrots Heidi's getting. They're short and fat.
Scubbish.
That has to do with that plastic, I'm sure, that's there. But they look like they can be something, right?
Fried in a skillet.
Yeah, I want to hear your dog bark forever. Said no one ever. Yeah, I told Heidi, said, man, we got to show those things. She's harvested quite a bit. We got, well, I took down the net around well, for the most part, it's all gone. Some of it's buried in the weeds. But look at all these beans she got. And she's going to try to let the tomatoes ripen on their own, because she wants to be done with this. And I'm more than happy for her to be done with this. I've never done any work on this at all, other than to pound the stakes in and to cultivate it up, and that was it. She did all this. But we're going to have to dig the railroad ties out of the ground. And then, or not railroad ties.
You got a mouse in your pocket.
Yeah. It's about 5'4". And it shows up at the house here occasionally. Anyways, not railroad ties, they're landscaping ties.
Yeah.
And then once all those landscape ties are dug up, I don't think there's any rocks or anything in here at all. So
No, there's some fabric, and it's just over there.
Yeah, which I'll weed eat to find the fabric. And then I'll just take the 0 turn and come through here.
Look.
Oh my, man. Remember those little flakes when you first planted them?
Yeah. Bud and I couldn't see them.
Yeah.
So
No, I was there.
that's right.
I was filming you.
I couldn't see it, so I planted more.
Yeah.
But I never did. Oh my God, look at this one.
It's a double. It looks like it's got 2 legs and one of them's bent.
Yeah.
And the other one's got a heel spur. I don't think there's anything on anybody that has that kind of anatomy.
Sorry, people. If that's
So no more. Oh, you're going to wait on your peppers, right?
Yeah, because...
Those jalapenos, are they hotter because they're smaller?
Oh, I don't know.
Isn't that the story?
I'm sweating. But yeah, we got...
Look at them. Nice.
I mean, I could pick them if you're going to destroy the garden. I don't care. I'm over it.
No, I'll wait. We'll wait. We'll just let it go. Just come out here.
Dug out. You're not mowing around these.
I'll put a little rope. Put a little rope around it and just
like
pull it out.
ragweed right there. Maybe
It is.
not.
That's ragweed. There's a bee on it.
Today.
What are you doing with all this soil?
I was going to put it in a bigger pot.
Oh, okay. Then we can bury a dog in it, the pot.
We're not mean.
Huh?
The people are going to think that we're mean.
Nah.
If I had a dog, it wouldn't be out barking.
Yeah.
Crying out loud.
Did you get everything? Oh, your tomatoes.
Oh, so here. So if you take these, there's some of them that aren't. You take these, put them in a skillet with some olive oil, heat up real high where they start bursting. Smash them with the potato masher. Put garlic and butter. Make yourself some spaghetti. Throw all this garlic and butter and these tomatoes in with the spaghetti, and then I use a big skillet. And then just throw a whole bunch of spinach on top and put the lid on.
Now she's saying spaghetti noodles, the thin type, not spaghetti sauce spaghetti. She's just talking about the noodles.
Just spaghetti noodles.
Yeah, just the noodles.
You could put spaghetti sauce on it too.
Oh, it would ruin it. It's so good the other way.
This tastes so. Oh, you can cut up some. Let's see. I did some zucchini.
Yeah, the
yellow
zucchini was
squash,
good. The spinach and the spinach.
And no, that's what I said. After you're done with the spaghetti, you put the hot spaghetti in over the stuff, and then you throw the spinach in and put the lid on, and the spinach cooks itself from the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's too many beans.
Too many beans. Okay, let's go inside.
It's sweaty.
Let's get all this stuff out. I'm going to drive up there and we can unload it.
Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to a rather wonderful day. And I'm sure it's going to be short-lived as far as these days and how many more we have like this. It is 70 degrees. It's late September. The sun is shining. The wind is blowing. It's just a wonderful breeze. Today's high is going to be 87. Some people would call this an Indian summer. I think our weather guy likes the term more second summer. He calls this a second summer. I don't know. I just wish it was like this all the time. And again, it could be warmer. I mean, 87 will be nice today. It won't be humid though. It'll just be 87. I saw yesterday, Heidi was working in the garden. She took up a bunch of the beans, and I think at this point in time, other than the peppers, we're kind of finished with the garden. I mean, you see there's still some tomatoes popping up here. What I'm going to do is try to clean this up, but not today. Not today. That's not today. Today is unloading the bikes out of the truck, and because it is winter time, I take care of our bikes and I make sure that the batteries do not get harmed, I guess you could say, and that the bikes do not see any rodents or anything like that. So at some point we'll be storing that stuff in the basement. The main thing though is for me to get the stuff out of the back of the truck, because Heidi wants to take the truck and go get softener salt. I can't wait to get our garage straightened out, because I'll tell you, it is rough. Somehow I hurt my right leg, the muscle in my right leg. So when I go to take a step, as soon as I bend my knee, whoo, it gives away. I've never had that happen before. So I definitely need to straighten out in here. There's a lot of stuff that can go down in the basement for the winter. I'm anticipating winter. Now we've had, I'm just telling you, a stretch of beautiful weather like I haven't seen in a long time. And again, it's the love-hate relationship we have with Northeast Ohio, and I think almost everybody. The weather that we have seen in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, it's just ideal. I don't think you could find better weather anywhere else in the world. It's just great. You get all these trees. So I've got all this fresh air being generated, all this nature around, nice green grass, most of the time light breezes of some kind, and no real humidity to speak of. It's just a pleasant time. And the reason that I think that Ohioans talk so highly about the weather when it's this good is because the weather can be so bad. It's just yuck. You know, the muddy, cold and wet and cold and wet, and it's just constant, can really be a downer. So I'll have to say that it comes down to the same thing that Heidi and I have always said, and that is, whenever you are considering, being in Ohio, the best time to be in Ohio is starting in late May, mid to late May, and all the way up until sometimes as late as November, beginning in November, but usually that's about it. Now, sometimes you can get away with, depending on how mild it is, you could get away with being here all the way until New Year's, because the snow and sometimes the snow is slow to come, the cold is slow to come, but you do not want to be in Ohio January, February, March, and sometimes April. And the reason that most people hate April is because they're fed up with January, February, and March and the cold weather. And April seems like it should be a spring type month, and it just takes forever for it to warm up. And even in May, it's not even necessarily warm. And you got a lot of rain then in May. So even if you are in Ohio late May, mid-May, late May, you're going to see a lot of rain. It's just, it takes a long time for the weather to get to this. So snowbirding and using this state as a snowbird state is great, except you plan on being in the southern states a little bit longer than what you would normally. And I think that's what Heidi and I would eventually do. We would love to make it to where, well, I'll be honest with you. And it's not that I'm not honest with you, but I mean, this is like me trying to make the statement of, I'll be more revealing to you about what our thoughts are on stuff. If our house payment was lower, and I mean, I don't even know how much lower, but if our house payment was lower by probably, let's see, if our house payment was lower by $400, yeah, probably $400 a month, we would consider living here until our days on earth were done. Because it is an ideal home for us. It gives us everything we need. It's actually more than what we need. So it would be perfect, but, this house, we should have bought this house back, years ago. We should have bought this house back probably in 2012, 2013, somewhere back then. And it would have been ideal for us. This would have been an ideal home at that point, because the payments would have been well established and have been a lot lower before property values would have went through the roof. Now, with that said, we, like any place, you could see we don't ever have necessarily an attachment. But Heidi don't want to talk about that because she's involved with work. She's got a lot of stuff going on at work. She's happy with where she's at. If our house payment was a little bit lower, it'd make it a little bit easier on what we do. You can see the kind of improvements that we've made to the home already. But the thing is that's all, side hustle money, basically. I don't know how to describe that. A lot of people ask about that stuff, and this is Heidi. She's the one that makes all of the money that pays the bills on a regular basis, and through bonuses, and then of course myself and all the income that I generate through all the stuff that I do, which is all over the board, makes it to where we can afford to, even though we moved in here, buy a truck, buy an RV, get the landscaping done, get all new windows, get a new fence, get the driveway resealed. All that stuff is outside of what is a normal income. And the thing is I don't know how long that will last. That's not like I'm going to work and clocking in and clocking out on a daily basis and I get paid X amount of dollars for doing so. Basically, I do what I do, and sometimes everything is coming up roses, and other times it feels like that I'm pushing up daisies. So it's a weird thing. It's a weird economy to earn money in. That's for sure. It's not like it used to be. And I'm trying to live in a digital world, that is not something that I'm totally familiar with. I'm sure I could expand and do some different stuff that would make a little bit more sense to me, but I like what I'm doing. It gives me a lot of freedom to allow me to do what I do and plan and help Heidi get to her goals, because I have more free time to plan and make stuff happen. So that was me being honest. All right, so let me go ahead and get to work. I think I'm going to eventually later today get the mower out again, because I forgot to mow this yesterday. Isn't that funny? And I want to take a look at around the back of the pole building. But yeah, I forgot to mow this. Now, once I have the mower out, though, ooh, that's a tough call. Do I start mowing on this? Well, the answer is kind of no, and the reason is because there are landscaping ties that go around this whole thing. All those landscaping ties need tore up. And I don't think that's something necessarily that could be easily done today, unless I got a string trimmer and I knock down the edges. And I don't know if I want to do that. Good morning, YouTube. Today is going to be a little different. You know what? I think you might catch some wind on this microphone. But look, there's no RV. Plus, our son's car's gone. Plus, Heidi's car's gone. Everybody's gone. The reason there's no RV is because tomorrow, supposedly, the fence guy is coming. And I told him, I said, I'll make sure the RV's out of the way so you can use our driveway to get your truck and trailer back there to do the work. Which he said, oh, I appreciate that. Another thing that happened, no more garden. It's all gone. So I dispersed of it all with the zero turn, which for a time being, it became a brush hog. You could see the fabric that's kind of sticking out in a couple places that there's still fabric in there. I'm not digging all that up. Maybe we'll plant some grass seed here or something, put some soil. Maybe I'll take the plow tractor and plow it. I don't know. I don't really see me doing much here. I just want the grass to grow over this and this to become a lawn. I'm assuming some plants may come back or try to come back, but I'll just continue to mow. And just for reference, what I've learned over the years taking care of lawns, if you have a field that is relatively smooth and you just look at it and continuously go, boy, I sure like that to become a lawn. Or if you have a garden or an old driveway or something and you say, boy, I sure like that to be a lawn again. The best way to make it a lawn is treat it like a lawn. Just start mowing it, watering it, seeding it if you need to. If you have bare spots out in your yard right now, you would seed it. You'd put some soil out there and you would seed it and water it, and it would become more of a grassy area. Well, it's the same with anything else. Fields, of course, same thing. You just got to make sure they're smoother. But I've seen guys that mowed plenty of fields and they became lawn shortly after that. One of the main reasons we wanted to make this back a lawn is Heidi has an idea about the driveway next spring, maybe, and we don't know how that would turn out, but she would like to see it wider and continue, be a little wider here, and then continue and widen back there even more, which in the spring when everything's wet, I would want that for sure. In the summer, like now when it's dry and we've had a drought, I could care less. I really don't care. But I have to go back to the pole building today. I have to get in the RV, and the refrigerator doors, unfortunately, they got closed whenever. We just don't want the refrigerator to stink. I was telling Heidi I would take care of it, and I forgot. What else? Oh, I think I'm going to attempt, and this is in the truest sense of the word, attempt. I'm going to get rid of that spider web, I'll tell you that. That won't be an attempt. But I think I'm going to attempt straightening this out a little bit today. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know exactly what that means. But yeah, straightening it out. Well, I got sidetracked. Well, actually, it's part of the cleanup process and organization process, but still, the garage didn't get worked on the way that I wanted it to. And it's because I went back to the pole building, and now we've got rain moving in. So I got to go back, close the pole building, and I'll put this thing back in the garage. Man, I'm a little bit wore out actually, because I cleaning up inside the pole building, the tarp that's been out here, protecting all of our crap from the birds crapping on it. Which the funny thing is, I haven't heard any birds or seen any birds in here for a while, which I don't understand that. But this big blue tarp that's been here protecting the all the stuff that's here, edgers, lawnmower, the little tractor at one point, pressure washer, and there's something living underneath there, that's for sure. I don't know if you can tell, but man, those mounds are big, and this all tunneled out all the way over to here. So I'll take the garden tractor and the plow, and I'll push that around at some point. Get that cleaned up. You got to expect that. I mean, there's a field behind us, or an open pasture, I guess you can say. There's a lot of wooded area. Heidi, all her life, she keeps on telling us, she don't really remember seeing too many snakes. And since we've been here, just this last month, we've seen 3 little snakes, and they're little tiny snakes. They're harmless. I don't even know if they could, I guess they might be able to bite my pinky, maybe. They open their jaws far enough. So the fact that I got this stuff cleaned up for preparation of the winter, what I was thinking about doing is, this winter when the RV comes in here, I think I'm going to take this tarp and lay it all the way across the floor so no moisture will come up through. I need to take a look alongside of the pole building. I'll show you what we're going to be working with here. So let me go check. I'm going to check the kind of crooked in the golf cart here. We took all those railroad ties that was around the garden, and Heidi says, let's just stack them up here until they're really dry, and then we'll burn them next year, which that's pretty smart of her thinking that. So we'll let all that stuff dry out there. But in the meantime, I wanted to check to make sure
This is all cleaned up as much as possible, because this is all going to be fenced in. You can see here. Yeah, this will all be fenced in, and our fence, you'll get an idea, it'll be much further away from the barn back here than it is up there, because the barn's crooked with the property line. The garage is crooked with the property line, not as bad as the pole building, and the house is crooked with the property line, which is kind of funny too. But yeah, about where my foot is probably where the fence is going to be. But yeah, we're finally going to have some rain. We're going to have some rain today. I think we're going to have some rain tomorrow. Then we're going to have some rain the next day, I believe, too. Then there's supposed to be like just sprinkles on and off throughout the week. But, oh man. Then it's going to get nice again. I can't complain. We really need the rain. The ground is really brown. Alright. So, I guess my day's cut short as far as what I planned on doing. I mean, I could still work inside the garage. The thing is there's a lot of stuff that I got to move between the garage and the basement. Stuff that's supposed to be in the basement. Turn that off. Yeah, these boxes here have to be in the basement. There's some boxes back there that need to be in the basement. There's some packaging that needs to be in the basement there. There's some stuff over there that probably going to stay in the garage. A lot of that stuff over on the shelf over there needs to be in the basement. So I planned on walking back and forth between the house and here. And, of course, that's not going to work so well whenever we got rain, whenever it's raining. Well, so, like I said, storm, right? So I went ahead and I took the push mower and I push mowed along the fence there and in between the garage and the fence, because I haven't mowed there for a while. But the clouds have moved in really fast. Now, this looked like this a little bit earlier, but then it kind of petered out a little bit. But yeah, it's time we had a pretty good storm, and I don't know how long this one's going to last, but it seems weird that we haven't had very many of these this year. I'm not so dumb. I'm going to stand out here in the rain. I may get caught in the rain a little bit, but we're going to have to just make this day a movie day.
Hey, YouTube, down in the basement, and I thought I wanted to talk to you briefly about something, and I've had a little clip that was put together, and it just didn't come across right. Basically, what I want to say is I'm frustrated that there's so much information available on YouTube, and yet you still have people that are being shocked by something that is so obvious. And I guess that probably happens in all industries. But as far as the RV industry, we've got a bunch of people that are spending their money, making purchases, and expecting something that is not obtainable. I watched a video just recently. I'm not going to call the people out explicitly. You may be able to find them, or maybe you've already seen the video. But it's a young couple, and they were talking about, oh, we're going to go, we're hitting the road. We're going to be full-time RVers. And I thought, boy, being that young and not having certain skills available to themselves, possibly, is going to be a big challenge. Most of the younger people aren't hands-on DIY trades type people as all of us were required to be, as Gen Xer, or older. I had to be able to do stuff. I had to be able to fix stuff. On my own. I had to be responsible for stuff. I couldn't just pay people to do stuff. And there's a lot of things that just happen. And you've got to expect that when those things happen, it's not a tragedy. It's not should be a big disappointment. It should just be the way things are. It's just the natural way things are. If I go to McDonald's drive-thru right now, which obviously, look at me, I go through McDonald's drive-thru a lot, and I get my order wrong, yeah, I guess that happens. And I'm not going to go back in and just throw a fit about, oh, the horror of it all. You know, I was so looking forward to this, and now the rest of my food is going to be cold because, you know, you messed up and didn't give me my fries, and now you're giving me fries and they're hot, but my other food's cold, and you know, it's just a travesty. Yeah, it's the same with the RVs. And anyways, the people are talking about how, oh, we're going to go get our RV. Today's the big day. And they go in and there's so many things wrong with it. And I can't believe that they've got stuff wrong. There's stuff that's wrong with it. And, you know, they seem to kind of not put a lot of value on the fact that there's stuff wrong, but just the fact that they mention it. It's like, okay, I get it. I mean, that happened with us in our RV. But they're talking about simple stuff. They're talking about how their desk don't slide open and close the way that they should, that it should. They're talking about their chair, one of the chairs wobbling slightly. Come on, seriously? I mean, I had problems with our brand new RV, and it was much more than that. I mean, I had to pull our microwave out, ship it back to the manufacturer. Once they shipped me a microwave that worked, I had to pull apart our furnace and make a repair to the squirrel cage blower inside. I had to take my plastic welder. I had to weld some plastic. I had to reinforce it with wire. Okay, I see that stuff. We went on our first real trip and it poured rain. We were in a torrential downpour, and the water just started literally pouring in the rear picture window of the RV, the frameless window. We did video of that. I even mentioned it earlier in this video. And again, that was bad, but that stuff happens. And they went back, the video, they showed that they went back and none of the repairs were made. They waited the time that they said. And I'm thinking, boy, if this is concerning you on any level, those minor things now, don't hit the road. Don't go full time, because you are going to have some crazy drama go on basic stuff. Wait till you have a tire blowout and it rips off the whole side of your RV. Have you even researched your tires yet? And what tires are good and which ones are bad? Wait till that happens. Wait till you are like us. We're in Arizona and we have a bent axle, and I have to repair the axle in 100-degree heat at 9:00 at night, because that's when it's nice and cool outside. There's just so many things that's going to happen. And I want everybody that's in, our viewers, our normal subscribers, and anybody that might have stumbled onto this video, just tell people, let people know, hey, this isn't what you think it is. RVs aren't what you think they are. They are not precision pieces of machinery being assembled at a Lamborghini plant. These are being thrown together at a manufacturer that does good job for the most part, but not all of them. And some of them are worse than others. And even the ones that are considered good still have problems. So share that. That's what I'm putting this video together for. Just share that with people. Please try to share that as much as possible. And if you guys see any of that, if you guys have heard it, put it down in the comments. Tell me your little story. Put a little blurb down in there of, man, I know this couple, or I know this guy that bought an RV and he thought he was just going to go travel the world in his RV, and boy, was he mistaken. Or maybe the other, maybe some people have gotten really good units, really good situations that nothing bad happened. But I think our subscribers, our viewers, the people that normally watch our channel are pretty well versed to know that if something can go wrong, it will. We still look at it with a positive, fresh eyes, that we think that everything's going to go, for the most part, our way. And as far as getting an RV that's exactly what we need and exactly what you want and fits every needs, we know that if you even get close to 80% of what you want in your RV, then be happy, because that is a passing grade. That is a flying colors grade in the RV industry. And it's the same when you first get your brand new RV. If 80% to 90% of the stuff inside is all perfect and it's all working and nothing needs to be messed with, then you need to say your prayers at night and thank everybody you can think of, because that means you got something that most people don't. That's all. That's all I want to talk about.
Well, we're in a different place to start the day. I just came outside and I started talking to you guys, and I got on a tangent that was not important to you guys and the viewership. But we will touch on it just a little bit. First, I want to give you the weather report, and that is no rain today, and we're in a dry spell again, so the weatherman says. The rain that we had was about 2.5 to 3.5 inches over 3 days. So we've got plenty of water down on the ground. Hopefully that will help. And it does look like already it took the ground and greened it up a bit. Well, that's good. So with that delay, and I'll say delay because of the weather, we didn't get our fence, the remaining part of our fence done. However, that is happening starting on, let me think, tomorrow. I'm sorry, it's tomorrow. I forgot today's Friday. And they'll put in the post tomorrow, and then they'll come back the next day and they will put up the pickets, and basically build the fence, which that'll be nice. I know that you guys may have a sense about what I'm talking about to some extent when I say that I feel more comfortable whenever I'm, everything's enclosed here. But I know to some of you it seems really odd. It's because I'll be 100% honest and transparent, although that rarely has been an issue with me. I'm always transparent and honest with what's going on. Sometimes in editing that gets lost because Heidi says I'm a little bit too transparent and honest. But without this fence here, we had a great view across this backyard and over to the next guy's backyard. He has a big pond. It's all tree lined. He takes care of it really well. And we always see turkeys, out in the yard over there. But because of, a barking dog, and what seemed like gawking or prying eyes every time we would come into our own backyard, I didn't like that feeling at all. It just seemed like that with the fact that our property was being encroached upon, and utilized, by the neighbor, that we had a sense that we were visitors in our own backyard, and that maybe we shouldn't be on the property line over there, even though I may be mowing or just enjoying it. And we didn't like that. So even though we lost a couple feet, and the view, I get a great sense of security whenever I come around this corner and know that I don't have to worry about, for the most part, any of that happening again. So the fact that the back is all open and you can see into this pasture that they created years ago that is just in shambles now. I mean, they mow it, but it's all wet back there half the time, and anyways, just because it's a decent view, I don't like the fact that, again, anybody can be
back there in that pasture, and it seems like they're in my backyard, even though it's not. It just takes away from my privacy again. So we want to get that privacy back, and that fence will take care of it. I know, again, that may not make sense to a lot of you, but there is a general sense of, hey, this is my property, this is my space, and I don't want to be bothered by you. And a fence basically does that. You know, the old saying, fences make great neighbors. So while we're waiting for that, I can see I got to go to get the trash can. I wanted to say thank you to all the people that, congratulated us.
What I mean by that is we got a lot of people that's like, oh, so good to see that you got out there. We really appreciate that. That was nice. Those are all nice gestures. Yeah, it was a struggle. You would think that it wouldn't be a struggle. And I didn't think that I would have missed it as much as I did. Again, I'm going to be pretty transparent. If I could never camp again or go RVing again, I could deal with that. It's not a thing. But we enjoy it. It just makes us feel so much better about what's going on, in the world. I know that sounds a little cheesy, but it's just simpler. It's like you've shed all of the stuff that you're dealing with on a weekly basis or whatever, and you're just kind of living and existing. And it's not that I'm a tree hugger or anything like that, but I enjoy nature. We have plenty of nature here. I mean, just the other day, for the third time, and the second time during the middle of the day, we had deer that just decided to visit, which is kind of funny. There's plenty of nature. It's not like I live in an apartment. It's not like I live in even an allotment or development, or in an HOA that it's all concrete and sidewalks and a few shrubs. We live out to where we're in country, past farmers. We pass Amish horse and buggies. It's nice, but you still can't compare it to actually staying out, basically in the woods. And even if it was just an RV resort, which kind of is more Heidi and I's speed, it's nice to do. Now, the thing that you'll find out if you haven't already with us, I'm sure you guys already know this. I'm sure you're all going, duh. We have a tendency to change a lot. We do a lot of different stuff. Now, it's not so much Heidi, that's kind of me. I kind of like to mix things up and go different directions. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with the way I was brought up. I kind of got acclimated to that, and it didn't seem odd, and it didn't seem like a problem or an issue. But just to give you an idea, I went to, let me count them real quick. I had a Melbourne preschool, then University Park, and then Palm Bay, and then Temple Terrace, and then O'Galley, and then Price, and then Sill, and then Jennings, and then Simon Perkins, and then Field Junior High, and then Field High School. So 11 different schools. I attended 11 different schools. We moved around a lot whenever I was younger. And the thing is, I had really good friends, really good acquaintances, and then we left. We went somewhere else. Made really good friends, acquaintances, then we left and we went somewhere else. So my attachment with friends and stuff is probably a little bit different than most everyone else's. Now, on the other end of the spectrum is Heidi, who up until she was pregnant with our daughter, she had never lived anywhere but in Beloit. In the meantime, I'd been in the Army and I traveled, the country and the world. And here she is, just living in one household in Beloit all her life. up until she was, even after we married. So she was in her 20s. And then we got an apartment in Akron for a year. And then we came back to Alliance, which is all of 5 miles from Beloit. And then we moved back to Beloit and lived there for 20 plus years. So Heidi's always lived in one little, geographical location for the most part, except for 1 year. And then we hit the road and we traveled the country, which was totally different for her. So when I say that, it's no surprise that when we talked about it on the video even, and it'll happen on down the line a little bit further here, we'll get ourselves into another RV. Now, that part is both of us. But as far as once we get the RV and what we're getting the RV for, it's hard to say. We know we're not going to be full-timers, but we know there's a good chance that at some point in time, we want to, be able to go on vacations, a week at a time, 2 weeks at a time, and actually go out and travel. The other thing that we know for sure is that probably at some point when we're retired, which for me is probably 4 more years. Can you believe that? I'll start collecting Social Security in 4 more years. Yes, I'm collecting Social Security as soon as I can. Who knows what's going to happen? And it's like winning the lottery. It's best that you take the lesser amount right away and learn to budget that and work with that as much as possible and make adjustments to your lifestyle to accommodate that amount of money instead of wishing for the big money, wishing for something going on down the road. Because look at Publishers Clearinghouse. If you guys don't know about that, you need to check that out. Can you believe that they actually filed bankruptcy and there's people that were winning $1,000 a week for the rest of their lives that no longer get any money? Yeah. And, whatever. So anyways, that's kind of my take on the Social Security thing. I'll start drawing right away. Heidi, she'll be continuing to work because Heidi is, if you guys don't know, we've shared this information before. She's 4 years younger than I am. She was just out of high school whenever I just got out of the Army and been at home for a year, I believe. I was 24 and she was 19 when we met. So it was just, it's just different, for us and what we plan on doing, as far as once that retirement thing goes on, what the RV might be like, and it may change. But Heidi, she's very smart, and she, even with what you may think is, not really typically a woman's part. The guys are usually the ones that are really in tune with the truck, the trailer, the RV, the mechanical part of things, the repair part of things, knowing what feels right when you're driving down the road and towing and all that stuff and how a vehicle should operate and feel and all that. And Heidi, she can do that. She can sense whenever things are a little bit different and maybe not quite as good as they were before. And what I'm talking about is me towing with an F-150, a trailer that's a little bit bigger than this one, might be, like I said in the last video, it's a little questionable for us compared to having a Super Duty and towing something that like our 30-foot travel trailer, that it felt totally different. It was a whole different experience, and it was basically just a matter of negotiating the vehicle in and out of places that you wanted to go. Other than that, there was never a question about your safety or the way that it felt or its ability or its potential for breaking down or just, again, its potential to be able to stop and go the way that it should and not overheat and not consume oil and not burn a lot of gas other than what the engine requires anyways. Heidi can sense that. So it's pretty apparent that even though the truck we have now is just fine for the trailer we have now and might even work for a little bit bigger trailer, at some point in time that may change. So you guys can expect to see changes on the channel. Woo, what a surprise. Like, you guys have never seen that, right? You didn't know that was going to happen. Boy, that came out of nowhere. But as far as, again, getting back to the main reason that I started talking to you guys, you know, in front of the camera, we really appreciate, and we could sense and feel your guys' true feelings of, you know, hey, so glad you guys are out there. So glad that you're, you know, doing again. You got an RV. You know, you can travel again. It's not quite the way we want it yet, and it'll get there eventually. Baby steps. You know, that's the best way I can describe it. But we do appreciate every one of you. And if you have any friends or anybody that you might, you know, for example, over the weekend, you're hanging out and you guys are thinking about camping or anything like that, share us with them. We don't normally ask that, and I guess I should. If you guys don't subscribe to us, please consider to subscribe. I'd love to see what it would do to our algorithm and how it affects what we're doing. I've never really, and we're not going to plead, you know, for, oh, please subscribe, nothing. I'll say that, you know, just as what they refer to as a call to action, which is a term I'm, you know, that's an industry term that I just kind of stumbled into. But basically that's me saying, hey, if you guys would like to subscribe, you know, we would really love to have you on the channel. And I don't care if you guys don't watch us for a month or so and then decide to kind of binge watch us, or if you don't want to follow us every week. I don't care if you're watching and you say, oh my God, he's rambling, let me just fast forward. Or you change the speed of the video. You know, you can change the speed. I don't care if you're watching on your TV, you're watching on your phone, your tablet, whatever. You can change the speed in which I'm currently talking and the video is playing. I suggest you go up to about 1.25, maybe 1.50, and you'll still get the message because I speak pretty clearly, and you'll still understand what I'm saying. There might be a little bit of going on, but yeah, anything. But please consider subscribing and sharing our videos, or sharing our channel on your Facebook page or your Instagram or whatever, and just say, hey, check these guys out. They're, let's see how to phrase us. We're ex-full-time RVers. We are a Northeast Ohio company, and we always got something going on. I know it's not always fun and games and humor and laughter and all that, but yeah, we always have something going on. And people might find that entertaining to some extent. And I know I do. We watch channels that my wife says, why are we watching this one? I said, I don't know. I just enjoy watching what they're doing. And same with her. She'll watch stuff and she'll watch the same person over and over again. And every time they put something out, she'll watch it. And I'm like, why? And I said, it's not like you're going to decide to start crocheting. She goes, I don't know. I just like watching them do it. So talking about that, let's talk about what we're doing. Well, I got part of the garage cleaned up, sort of. You could tell there's some boxes that are missing over here. We got some stuff that went down to the basement. We're trying to organize this. I mean, this is one of the things when you live in the North, and I'll just say in our case, Northeast Ohio, I have to start thinking while it's warm. I have to start thinking about the winter. So I have to start preparing everything and do the last minute, oh, I forgot to do this summer thing. You gotta do that as quickly as possible, because winter could hit, and it could hit fast, and it could be bad. So what I'm trying to do is get the garage organized, cleaned up. I'll tell you what I would really love to do: take everything out of this garage that we possibly can, including that big desk. Boy, I wish somebody would be interested in just taking that. I wish they'd show up with a pickup truck and say, hey, I seen on this video on YouTube that you were talking about this big desk, and I would love to have it. Listen, it's some kind of big, heavy metal desk. That's all I know. I don't see any drawers in it. I don't know what it was used for. I don't even know what the countertop looks like underneath there, because this looks like just Formica. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm guessing, but it seems to be, I don't know. There's a lot of weight on there. I would like to get that out of here. I would like to take all these chemicals out. I'd like to take all my tools out, all the workbenches, everything. Cover up the windows, cover up the lights as best as possible, cover up the cameras, cover up the tracks and the doors. Try to stay away from the doors as much as possible, and come in here with my paint gun and a cheap 5-gallon bucket or 10 gallons worth of white paint, and just start with my paint sprayer. Just start painting everything. Just hit it all. Take down that cabinet. We don't need that cabinet, or if we do, we'll put it back up. I don't know. Right there, it's no good for me. I mean, I could see it somewhere else maybe, but back there, it's just in the way. Or it's out of the way, so much so that I can't really use it. But anyways, you get a sense of what it would be nice for this garage to. And the thing is we were going to pressure wash the floor and try to make this different. Obviously, whoever built the garage, they definitely did not do the concrete correctly. There is so many cracks all throughout here. I don't understand how people that pour concrete can screw up so bad, but it's definitely wrong. But we're not gonna worry about that. At some point in time, maybe I'll try to make some repairs in here on the concrete. But the most important thing is that I wanted everything to be consistently painted in here to make it look nice. You know, just make it look nice. And I was just going to paint all of these shelves white. I was going to paint all of those shelves white, just because that's the thing to do right now. Everybody loves white, so just paint it all. And this whole corner here, this is not really insulated. This is some sort of masonite. I mean, there is an insulation there because of it, but it's just wood on the other side of this, wood panels. And I can deal with this. It's just this corner. I'm fine with that. But this garage just isn't quite the way that I think it should be. But is that for next spring? I bet. I can't imagine getting anything done this winter or prior to winter. We just had so much going on. So what we're going to do in here a little bit more is clean up. But in the meantime, you see the rain cover on the golf cart. That's because I thought that the fence guy was going to attempt to actually put the fence post in on a day that it was raining. And I knew I'd be running back to the pole building, opening it up. So he had power back there that he could connect into. Anyways, I put the cover on it and it worked, but they never showed up. So now I need to take it back off again because it's kind of dumb. Well, maybe if I just roll up the sides. What do you think? Nah, it looks dumb.
Well, regardless if we're getting rid of the RV or not, we'll still be utilizing it. And there's certain things that I will not put up with. And that's what this bag is all about. Amazon's failing, though. You know, just yesterday, they said it was going to be here. And then prior to that, the day before, they said it was going to be here. And guess what? It wasn't. Yeah, they said it was going to be here at 2 separate times. And the whole reason that I ordered the one that I did was because they said it would be the next day. Now, I had a choice. I had one of them that was used like new. Basically, the packaging had been, I don't know, something wrong with the packaging. But other than that, it was new. And I had the ability to use or get that one, you know, within one day. That's what it said. Or I could get one that was brand new for almost twice as much, and it would be delivered the next day. However, it would have been delivered between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. So they say.
Well, it wasn't. All right, so you get an idea of what I'm looking at here, right? You guys know how much I hate this thing. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. I've never seen a unit that's so hard to turn on. Watch this. Ready? And I'm putting force on this. Look at the dent on my finger. I mean, there's dirt there also, but yeah, how stupid is that? That's just dumb. So I'm going to pull the fuse for this thing. I'm going to take this out, take this off, and hopefully replace it with this cheap one that had really good reviews, and it was only $18. And it should be much better than this. Much better. You know, this one here operates off of the bimetal, and you can't read it very well. And I mean, it's just, hey, you know, this is what comes with it. I get it. But this one should be a little better. Let me get it out of the package. We'll take a look at it. And remember, the links will be down below for this thing. If you decide to buy it, please utilize the links. That helps us. We can do more projects. You get the idea. I wanted to tell you this, too. You see these panels, right? Well, I didn't think much about them. I'm going to try to turn on the light here and get a little brighter for you. I didn't think much about them. I'm like, man, I don't understand why they did. You know, they put them on the outside like this, and I don't know. And I thought, you know what? I want to look in there. I want to see what it looks like in there. Which, by the way, looks just fine. However, I didn't realize how genius of a design this is. Look at that, right? It's just a slip fit. Same with the one down below. Now, I do like that, and I can deal with this thing being framed the way that it is because of that. That's the kind of stuff that should be done more often. Making genius design decisions. Well, that's hard to say. I said that 3 times fast. And making it, you know, that's simple, that's inexpensive, and it looks great. So we've got a basic, it says Atwood Hydro Flame Furnace. Let's see what's in the package. First thing I did was pull the fuse. It's a 15 amp fuse. It's in the number 4 position. And the way that I know that I pulled the right one is if I turn this on, I don't hear the fan running like I just did. And it shares the fuse with the refrigerator. You can see it works on gas, but it won't work on the electric part. Usually that would turn on. Even with the gas, it's not gonna operate. I don't think it's gonna operate. Yeah, see, it's flashing because there's no fuse in there. Yeah, that was the same fuse that I didn't have in there before, and I'm like, why is this working? All right, let me go ahead and open this package. This is what it looks like. It didn't come with anything but the instructions, a couple of screws, and it's missing AAA batteries, which, of course, I have. It's just I was hoping that they would be in here, to tell you the truth. I think this is a rechargeable. I don't think there's any AAAs in here. No, I'm pretty sure it's a rechargeable. So what I got to do is go up and get some AAAs. And the way that this operates is very basic. There's other functions that it will perform, but you can see this is just a heat, you know, or off. That's all it does. It's either on or it's off, and it's heat. Here's the up and down, and that's pretty much it. That's why I got it. Now, again, this one, because this is the packaging it came in. It was a return, and it had something to do with the packaging. Hopefully, that's the reason. But it was only $18. It's really basic. You see the screws that are here. We're just going to run 2 wires in there. It'll tell us how to do it right here. As far as the heat, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. There's only going to be 2 wires on the back of here. And that's all you're doing is you're just basically connecting those 2 wires. That's all there is to this. I mean, if your thermostat fails and it's like this and you need heat because you're, out in the middle of nowhere, just connect the 2 wires together. It's turning it on. That's it. You're making a connection and turning it on. So let me go get the batteries. I'll be right back, and we'll get this one off the wall. Let's try to see what that's like. Let's see what's to get it off the wall. There's a big hole here, and this thing's destroyed. I don't get this. I don't understand
I don't understand the build on this thing, but yeah, there's a screw here, and this screw has fallen out or wore itself out, one or the other. Let's go ahead and take a look at this before I go. So you basically can see how the one works. Like I said, it's just 2 wires, and even though these are color coded, I don't think it really makes too much difference. And the way that this operates is when this metal becomes a certain temperature, it's very sensitive, and it bends based on the temperature and will shut off its contact with, one of the wires. So one wire's hooked to one side of the coil, the wind, and the other wires hooked to the other side. And yeah, I just don't understand why it was so hard to turn on and off. That was a bad design. They molded it wrong or something, and it's just, these aren't very accurate. In the instructions, it says right at the top, for 2-wire heat only system, connect the RH and the W. It says identify each wire attached to the old thermostat by taking a photo of the old wiring. Well, there's no sense in doing that. I mean, I'm not really moving that fast, tell you the truth. But I did look, and I know that you're not going to be able to see this, especially with the lighting that we have. But this thermostat, inside, the wire that was attached to this one, there is a W that's cast in the plastic there. And sure enough, if you look over at this one, again, I don't know if you're going to see this in the light, there's an R. So I looked at the wiring, and the R had the red and white stripe, and of course the white is just all white. So there was actually a right or a wrong way that you could have put this together. Now, I know that the wires going into the unit, though, the heater that's underneath the couch, there was 2 wires that were unaccounted for, basically, that came from the thermostat. They were thermostat wires. And there were no rhyme or reason. There wasn't a red one, a white one, a striped one, nothing like that. They were both white. There was no difference at all. And I put them together, and of course they worked just fine. But just for peace of mind, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I put them back. The red and white, I'm going to attach it to the R and the, or in the case of the new thermostat, the RH. And in this one, I'll put, this is the white. I'll just put this to the W, just like it says in the instructions. I am going to put some better ends on this, though. I don't know. This looks like the very first speaker that I ever wired as a teenager. Okay, good and bad news. The good news is there's a couple of AAA batteries out here for the remote on the TV set. The bad news is the reason they returned it is because this terminal here that I'm pointing with my finger, the one all the way to the right, was stripped. Whoever bought this decided he's going to be He-Man, and he tightened it so far down that he stripped the threads, and he went past a point that he shouldn't have to cause the threads to strip out. The good news is they were just stripped out when they were bottomed out, when it was bottomed out all the way. So I just manually pulled the screw back out. I had to take this PCB out and use my trimmers, or whatever you want to call them, my nippers for the electrical. And I backed that screw out. And then after that point, it works fine as long as it doesn't get bottomed out all the way, which it can't because I put on, some terminals. So anyways, I got them all wired back in. Everything's good. They're tight. They're not going anywhere. I'm going to have to move the wires just a little bit to slide on the cover. I can tell they're kind of blocking here, but these are pretty pliable, these little connectors. So I'll just move them a little bit, cause them to bend a little bit, and it'll be out of the way of this slipping on, which, again, this is one of the things that I almost, and I try not to, for the most part, buy the cheapest stuff that Amazon has as far as the returns, because the returns, this thing looks perfectly normal from the outside until you start to get into it, and it's like, crap, there's something else going on here. Well, like I said, the link will be down in the description. I suggest you buy the one that is being sold, which is still a good deal at $38. When we first bought on our Terry camper, and you guys remember I upgraded the thermostat on that, I paid $21 for a brand new thermostat. And that was back in maybe 16.
Holy cow. They more than doubled. It was like 37 or $47 for that same thermostat. So I went hunting for this one. Somebody commented and said this is a perfect replacement for the Atwood cheap bimetal one that you get with the RV. And that's what I have. That's exactly what I have. So based on that review, I went ahead and grabbed this, and we'll see how it works. Let me go ahead and, like I said, relocate the wires a little bit here, move them around, and then I'll slide in the cover, slide the cover on, and see what it, see how it works. All right, all I gotta do is put the fuse back in now. Boom, boom. Yikes. And because I have batteries in it, that's why it reads 81 in here. And you know what? It feels like 81. I wonder if the it says 76 over here. Ooh, might have a little discrepancy between temperature indicators. All right, let's go ahead and turn this thing on. And it says it's set on 62. Let's go ahead and bump it up until it decides to come on. What do you guys think? 63, 64. There's no backlight to this, which somebody commented about that. I don't have a problem with it. Oh, it kicked on. It clicked and it kicked on. I can feel the fan blowing. Of course, you're not going to hear the fan because this stupid inverter fan is so loud. Here, let's do this. Well, you still can't hear it. Oh, maybe it's because I have this one single light on. Let's see. Yeah, because I had that one light on. But it's definitely on. I can hear the furnace running out there. It's definitely working. All right, so this is a win. Again, somebody mentioned about the backlight not working on this. I don't care. Let's go ahead and put it back down here to a normal temperature and turn it off. That's the most important. I can turn it off. So, simple, really basic. If I would have bought new, it would have been much better. Again, it does say something about backlight. Or it's supposed to have a backlight, and it doesn't, so I don't care. I just want it to work. That's it. And it's nothing for me to lean down and just push some buttons and be able to see. Now, if you have a problem with lighting, yeah, I get it. You may want to not go with this one, but Emerson. All right. Well, we've got most of the post in, and when I say most, there's one. There's only one. He shorted himself a bag of concrete. So we'll have to deal with that tomorrow. But you can see how much closer the pole building is. Here, well, I mean, for me to touch here, it's just that. But the further you go back, the further the poles are. Had to get over in the lawn a little bit over there. Oh well, whoopsie. Nothing like killing the grass. And then I'll clean all this stuff up once the fence is up. We'll put some gravel down or something. We'll clean all this up, get all this wood out of here, and put gravel down. It'll make it nice. He had to stay off the back property line. He tried to get as close as he could to it, but he says he definitely needed at least 2 foot to have enough room that he could be, nailing on the backside. But he does a really good job, and he's quick. I mean, it's still real early. And you can see they're done for the day. He said the reason they brought their track post hole digger in is because of the roots that they knew they were going to get into. And the funny part is I thought all this property was clay, but all through here, this is all soil. There's hardly any clay. compared to what's over here. This, look at this. Look how much clay there is. It just packed it in. I mean, the auger, it's literally clay. I mean, it's like modeling clay. So yeah, this will be nice. This will be all done tomorrow, and he'll top off the posts. Some of the posts are a little bit taller than others. He'll get all that straightened out. I'm shocked though by how crooked the pole building is compared to the fence. I still think that's hilarious. Man, he did a good job. Look at that. It's right down the line. That is incredible. And then the same here. Just doink. There they are. So pretty soon this will be a nice private area for us again. And we don't have to worry about what's going on the other side of the fence. I like that. I like that idea a lot. Well, here we are, and it's just past noon, and we had a lot of stuff go on today, and you can see it in the distance. We finally blocked off the rest of that property, and I'm going to tell you that we have definite goofy neighbor action going on over there. Not this guy. He's just trimming his trees. We're good with them. So you guys know that we talked about the weeds being killed, or the grass being killed up against our property, right? So we have like, I don't know, a foot worth of grass that was just killed. It was just sprayed upon and killed. Well, we have 2 foot of property we own on the other side of that fence, right? Even with that, there's some indication that the neighbor believes that's her property. I don't know why. So you can see the leaves that are here, because yesterday when she mowed, she blew all of the leaves up against our fence and underneath our fence. I have no idea why, but I blew them back. You can see the picture today of what it looks like. So now the next thing we'll do is we'll clean this up a little bit. We'll make this a little bit nicer. Like I'll put some of this dirt in the hole over here. Get rid of some of these boards. Level all this out. We'll get some gravel in here to make it walkable the entire way. Nope. Big toad. Try and get that bug. But yeah, we'll put some dirt in here and tamp it down. But isn't this nice? It's all blocked off. And then back here, I don't know what we're going to do. I'm thinking gravel to reclaim what's slowly going bye-bye because of it just not being taken care of. And then you can see the gap underneath the fence. I kind of wanted to do that in most of the places so that we can take care of the leaves by blowing them underneath the fence. Because we don't have any trees on our property except that corner right there. And I'll take care of those leaves. I won't blow them on the neighbors. But some of these limbs might have to go away that are hanging over our pole building. And those limbs too. Yeah, I like it. I like the peace of mind knowing that we blocked off anything to do with that neighbor, and now all we gotta do is just protect our fence.
So every time that there's getting blown up on our fence, I'm going to have to do something about it. And like I said, it just don't make any sense that this person has some sort of fascination with our property line and thinks that it should be theirs. I just don't get it. So, good. Love it. Good morning, YouTube. No, good afternoon, YouTube. I've been up since earlier today, much earlier, and I've been kind of a little busy today. RV back up here for a couple of reasons. We'll talk about one of those in just a few seconds here. I turned on the air because it was a little, boy, good. It's running really good out the gutter there. That's nice. It's actually, okay, well, I'm glad. Let's just say that. The truck is, well, this grasshopper's been hanging out for, I don't know how long. I don't know why he's on the side of the, there we go. It's kind of weird. Oh, look away. Can't have everybody knowing my garage door thing. I've got a couple, I got a little box here. I heard that the golf cart was making some clicking noise when we turned. And I thought, I better take a look at it. I'll see what's going on there. And it's missing the bushings on the front leaf spring. There's one leaf spring that goes all the way across the front. It's kind of cool. That's what they used to do with street rods back in the day. And old cars for that matter. And I'm talking like 30s vehicles. So, and when I say 30s vehicle, I mean 1930s vehicles. But I ordered the bushings. I'm sure it's quick and easy to install, and they were only, I think, $9. But in the meantime, I was looking through Facebook Marketplace, and Heidi and I, we've talked about this for some time, and that was, we know that we're not going to be keeping this RV. Okay? I think that's pretty clear. We talked about it in different ways, and yeah, so we'll end up getting rid of this RV. However, we would like to do some trips with it, maybe even still this year. And again, you can see the weather that we're experiencing is just incredible here. I'm telling you, it's the love-hate relationship with Ohio. When the weather is nice, it is really nice. There's no humidity to speak of. It's just pleasant outside. It's just, it's just nice and warm. I like the humidity, but I can appreciate when it is a dry day and it's warm outside. It takes a little bit more for you to work up a sweat. All right. Bad news is I just showed you that perfect weather, and Heidi, being the boss, when people call off work, I shouldn't say call off work, when they take vacations or they're off for the week or whatever, she's the one usually filling in. So she has worked, let's see, starting last week, she worked Wednesday, Thursday, and it was a hard Wednesday and a really hard Thursday. She was up in Brecksville or something working at a warehouse. They were tearing down shelves in a warehouse to come to her store. It was rough enough that so much so that I think her boss put out a call for help to have some people show up and help out, because a little bit over their head with the work that was going to be involved there. Okay, well, anyways, getting back to her schedule. So she worked Wednesday, a hard Wednesday, Thursday, a hard Thursday. She then went to have dinner with her mom and a family friend on Thursday later in the afternoon. She didn't get home until 9 o'clock at night. Then she worked on Friday. She worked on Saturday. She worked on Sunday. Today is Monday. She's closing the store today. She worked yesterday, open to close, from 8 to 8. Today, she works until another 12-hour day. She works until close. She's off tomorrow. She then closes the store again the next day, so it'd be
10 to 9 at night. Then she's off. Then she works 10 to 9 at night. Then on Friday, she works 10 to 9. I'm sorry, on Saturday, she works 10 to 9 at night. And I don't know after that. I think she might be off. But anyway, she's just working a lot of hours. So even though the weather's really nice, there's nothing really we can do. Now, I could set this up to where we go camp. We camp. And, when she's off work then on, tomorrow, she could hang out at the camper. And then she could go to work the next day and then have all day Thursday off and be at the, campsite again. We did that. We did that the other day. I don't think we're going to do that this time. I wanted to make it where she can come home on, on her day off and just chill, just do nothing, to speak of really. She can just hang out. I talked about this situation here, and I'm kind of fed up with it. So from this point forward, I don't think there's going to be any passive aggressiveness. I think there's just going to be aggressiveness. The neighbor has some obsession with the property line. I don't know what it is, but there's some sort of entitlement that they feel as if they should be able to maintain what's not theirs. And that's the whole reason that $12,000 worth of fence went up, because it didn't stop. Even when we did this fence initially, it stopped her from mowing. And I'll be honest with you, when she mowed, before this fence went up, I'll show you where she mowed. Now, keep on remembering, we own 2 feet on the other side of this. She mowed right here, all the way back to the pole building. All of that. She thought it was hers. Or she just assumed. Now, here's the worst part. Whenever she would mow, and I'm going to talk quiet, all up against here, and guess where else? This is the best part. You're going to love this. All the way over to here. To here. She mowed all of this as if it was hers. Oh my God. I get so worked up whenever I start talking about it. Okay, Mike, calm down. Do some sort of breathing exercise. All right, there's some papers here, and I'll show you why. Because what I was saying was that the trailer, since we're not going to keep it, I did not want to put the ProPride system on this. It's not that the ProPride system is hard to install. I still, even though I haven't done it for I don't know how many years, it's right in my head. I mean, I remembered exactly how it went on, because it makes sense. Once you see it on and connected, it makes sense. So Heidi had asked me, she said, if we want to go on a couple longer trips, instead of just going to the local, place that's just 3 miles away, she says, do you feel comfortable towing the RV without weight distribution? And I said, I'm not going to be one of those people that I preach against all the time, and that is, I don't really need it. Because I know that I can tow within a certain amount of mileage from here, and it would be okay as long as I took it easy. However, I want to be fully, again, in control. I want to make sure, and really nobody's in control of their trailers. They try to be, but when push comes to shove, if an accident happens, there is no control. There's a whole nother level that you won't even recognize of being out of control when you have a trailer hooked to your vehicle, such as an accident. If somebody hits the back of this when I'm driving through an intersection, I kind of know how to cut the wheels and counter the spin, and I try to, I would be able to brake and do all that stuff and maybe have some control over the accident once it happened, as far as maintaining and getting control of my vehicle so I don't have more of an accident. When you hook a trailer and let's say somebody hits the trailer, that's a whole different can of worms. And there's not necessarily any kind of recovery for that. So, what I'm getting at is
the ProPride system is not going on this RV. It'll go on our next travel trailer, whatever that may be. But we wanted to have weight distribution. So I've been looking. Facebook Marketplace always comes through. You just got to be patient. And I just drove over today and found this. It's not in the best shape. Well, I shouldn't say it's not in the best shape. It's just, it's been used. That's all. It's just been used. How about that? Needs cleaned up, but it's not horrible, right? God, my left arm's still messed up. Just to let you guys know, I have a muscle strain on my left arm, and apparently if you keep on using an arm that has a muscle strain, the muscle strain remains. So I ran over to Alliance, where, you know, out where we used to live in that area, real close to Louisville, and this guy had this on Facebook Marketplace. And funny thing is you guys remember that video that I referenced about not using airbags, or not using airbags for weight distribution, or with weight distribution? I'm sure a lot of you have seen that video, because I've had a lot of comments either way. I did use airbags with our weight distribution system. It's just I used it to modify the ride quality, not so much, I didn't use it for leveling the vehicle. But that video that I referenced, where they did, they showed how vehicles are teeter-totters if you just use airbags or helper springs instead of using weight distribution. That video is made by a company called Fastway, and it's because they make hitches. Well, guess what? This is a Fastway hitch. Now, I looked at these in the past when we first started RVing, and I don't know, they were okay. They were all right. Now, these bars are a little bit on the heavy side for this RV. This RV fully loaded, I think, weighs 6,300 pounds maybe. And these bars are 8,000 pound bars. Not a big deal, though. You just set it up to where they don't put as much pressure, to level out the RV. And that's done through these here. Now, the other thing, if you guys remember, has been with us for a while. I'm sure you guys are all thinking about typing. Oh, geez, Mike. I remember there was a time you were complaining and talking about how much noise RVs made when they came through the park. And all that squeaking and creaking and stuff. And you're right. This is one of the culprits here. This system is one of those that makes all that noise. Now, here's the thing. I don't really need the anti-sway too much. I went ahead and bought the silicone, thermoplastic, high-impact plastic, whatever they call it. I bought the new L brackets. He didn't have the L pins. And the things that slip on here that allow the bars to slide on this. And you can see the wear that these are experiencing. And it's not that much. He used them for a little while. I can't remember how long he said. But then he sold the RV. Guy was really nice. He was ex-Army. And it was hilarious because he is the first person that I just randomly met that had the same MOS as I did. He was a light wheel vehicle mechanic also. So we got shooting the breeze about a lot of stuff, but the reason that I went with these bars, I didn't really care if they had the chains and they were snap-up brackets. I didn't care if they were like this. I really didn't care. I just wanted to have a weight distribution system that I could run on the vehicle, on the trailer, to help with weight distribution a little bit, help with sway a little bit, and that's what this is, does in both cases. But more importantly, I was just looking for cheap. And how much do you think I paid for this? I mean, it's an E2. That's the name of it. This is a round bar, and it's 800 pound tongue maximum and 8,000 pound trailer maximum. It came, of course, with the ball, although it's all galled up. I'll have to I'll have to lubricate. I'll hit this with some sandpaper or something, then I'll shine it up. Maybe I'll put a new ball on there. I don't know. Maybe not. And of course I have to, that's what I've got the instructions for here. There you go. Like I said, it's kind of middle of the road. I wish I had, oh no, I couldn't do this one because my tongue weight, I think, is higher than 600. Yeah, and the max trailer weight's over 6,000. So this actually is the one that would go, that this trailer would call for. But you can see, right? Same one. It's exactly the same. There's nothing different there. So what do you guys think I paid for this? Again, I had to order the little L pins that go in here, and I got the pads that the bars slide on. And I'll just tell you that was $20 from Amazon, and they'll be delivered here tomorrow. Now I could have bought just the pins, and those were $10, but I wanted to go ahead and just order those pads just in case these things are noisy. But have you got your guesses in? You're probably wrong. Maybe not. I paid $50 for this. I couldn't pass it up. As soon as I seen that get posted, most of the time guys are asking at $125, $150 for these things, and they sell for $400 at Camping World, about $415. I think Walmart sells them for around $500. So for $50, I'm like, yeah. I just asked him, I said, hey, does it work? He goes, yeah. He goes, it worked. He said, I sold my trailer and the guy didn't want this system. I'm like, okay, cool. I definitely want it, and I drove over there and got it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and set this thing up. I don't think it'd be very difficult. You know what I should do? Oh, it looks like he had to do some readjustment. Look at that. You could see where the bar was bit initially, or the bar was clamped initially, and then he backed it off. These use a series of washers to get an angle. So what I need to do is, the trailer's pretty level, and I think this section of driveway here is pretty level too, that if I back the truck up, everything should be pretty low. I mean, the right thing to do is just pull it out in the driveway and set it up in the driveway, but I don't want the RV in the driveway while I do this. I'd rather just do it here and get real close. You know, I can make adjustments later. But I'd like to see if this works just the way it is. Wouldn't that be nice? I wouldn't have to change anything. I doubt it, but we could wish. I don't know what kind of vehicle he had. That's something I should have asked him. But yeah, I think that for $50, this was worth a shot. And if we sell the RV, then at that point, you know, if somebody wants might be a selling point, maybe. You know, they'd want the weight distribution system for themselves. Maybe they don't have a weight distribution system. I don't know. But, yeah, I was real happy to go get that today. Well, I took my time and played around a little bit and figured out that it was pretty close. Like those brackets in the back, I actually put them to a couple of bolt holes that he had used. The sandwich brackets that go around the frame were exactly the same as his, which, you know, a lot of these RV frames are pretty standard. I have a little bit more tension on the bars than I'd like. Oh, and the RV's up off the ground. I just have it barely off the ground. But the front end was 35.5. I put all the weight of the RV on the coupler, you know, and of course we don't have stuff in the RV necessarily. There's some things that are not in the RV yet. You know, and I don't know how much water I have in there. I might have a lot of water. So anyways, and I think that tank's behind the axle. That would make a difference. Well, anyways, whenever I loaded down the truck with the RV tongue weight, it raised the front end a 1/2 inch. So it went from 35 to 36. Rephrase that, 35.5 to 36. When I put this on here, or put the bars and tensioned them up, it's now 35.5 again. So it's right back to where it was before. I would rather see a little bit more weight. I don't know. This is just temporarily. It's again, it's not like the hard part about this is I keep on thinking about this stuff as if, oh, we're full time, and once we hit the road, I got to make sure it's exactly right, and it's not it at all. This is just, I just want to get something on there, and this will allow us to go on a little bit longer trips. But yeah, it's fine. But anyways, getting back to what I was saying, I would like to have a little less weight on the bars, a little less tension on the bars. I know that's how the anti-sway works, but the good thing about that is it's nothing more than me, taking all this crap loose, loosening up this nut, loosening up this nut, and loosening up the bolt that's underneath, and then removing, unfortunately, both bolts, and then pulling a couple washers out from here. This is, there's 5 washers in there. I can take out 2 of those washers.
We're here today with Heidi. Go figure. So here, come look. Heidi was asking about, we have these covers. And remember we had all these drain openings or whatever. So he put a big rock on the opener. But over here, what's funny? I thought there was another one.
That's why I was asking.
Nah. No, the concrete block was there. There was nothing here. That's right.
Already got weeds coming up. I already pulled a weed.
Well, look where it is. I mean, they couldn't get that fabric underneath the generator cover, so.
Could have if they tried.
Ooh, I hear Heidi doing laundry. Ooh, it smells good too. Yeah, there's a big rock on this one here. There is a cover on that, right?
The screw in.
Oh,
pretty sure.
Okay. And then there's one down there. And then there's one in the front. I believe there's one in the front.
Oh my God. Is there still laying there? I told you could just put them down this side.
Let me juggle them while I'm doing it too. They're so light.
Here, hold the camera.
Yeah, right. So I thought there was another drain clean out over here.
I don't remember seeing this one because it was so...
Oh, there's a rock. You can see it. Big rock. Look for the big rock.
There.
That's it. Yeah. So yeah, that one I got to get a hand cart for because I'm not able to... There's no way I would be able to...
Yeah, so you can just lay them down the side here.
All right.
I think it'll look nice.
Well, I think it already looks pretty nice.
Yeah, it's kind of plain.
I don't know how long it's going to last this way, but... Oh, I wanted to tell you something too. He was surprised by it, and I'm like, I guess that is a little different. He said they're up close to the house. There's a grounding rod, and it's out here somewhere, real close to the edge.
What's that mean?
I'm just saying that the rod that is connected to our electrical in the house,
That's clear out here.
that grounds the whole house, is out here somewhere. Yeah, it's way far out. Or he says they're usually real close to the house. I don't know why they put it so far out, but we got to put some great stuff in that hole too. And you can see here, like, this is some extra. I could probably go down with this a little bit. God, I need to clean the window, the ledges, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty
dirty.
Dirty, yeah.
Got to put some stuff around there too.
Yes.
Oh, you can put beetle. It's on the spin cycle. You could put that beetle tape around that.
Ooh, beautiful.
Pretty sure. I got heartburn from breakfast.
So Heidi and I went to, it's kind of becoming a pretty decent place. We've been there twice, and the meal's been great twice. It's a little tiny restaurant. How many tables do you think are in there?
8 maximum.
Yeah. It's called the Country Grind. If you guys are from the area, you may want to check it out. It's out on 422, right?
Yes.
And it's in Southington. And it's really good food. I can't say anything bad about it.
like leaves are like piled up there.
I weed eated.
I'm talking about the other side.
Oh, I don't think. Of course, there's no gate for us to look at, so I couldn't tell you.
We could start at the gate. This is our property.
It's true. So Heidi you haven't been back here, have you?
No.
I don't know why you're pulling those weeds. We need to let winter do the job, and then next summer, or just.
No, you should do it before. It's got time to die. You could tell in the pictures because the wood is so light. I didn't think it was that light whenever he installed the fence.
Yeah. So the idea here is that we'll clean all this up and make some sort of a walkway.
Or put some of that gravel down.
Yeah, just gravel.
I wish the boards were up higher.
No, they're
Thought we discussed that.
okay.
Ouch.
Did you want them to look unlevel at the top?
Well, I'd rather have her have the shitty look.
No, I'm talking about. Look at how they're almost perfectly straight.
Okay.
How you got to compromise somewhere.
All right.
What do you think about all this?
That looks pretty good.
I think it looks really good. I like the way it looks a lot, don't you? Mm-hmm. Look at this.
Well, I'm sure we'll probably never do anything back here, so.
This is where I'm gonna put in a hot tub.
Let's put grass seed back there.
Okay,
Don't need to
we
be
put
putting
grass
any
seed back
rocks back there.
there. No rocks, just grass seed.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, just grass seed,
Okay.
because, I mean, it's cheap.
This is vacuum line. This is vacuum line off of something. I don't know what it is. Oh, I should open the pole building, you think? Heidi hasn't seen inside the pole building since I cleaned it out. She just doesn't have a chance to ever come back here. All day long, there's nuts that fall from the trees and hit this pole building. So what do you think?
Does this thing do anything? The pole that we drug around with us when we were on the road?
I don't know what you're talking about. Does what?
That pole out there, does that do anything?
I don't have it hooked. I don't have it plugged in.
I mean, did it ever do anything?
Yeah, when I first got here, I was trying to get a signal back here. See how big it
No,
looks?
there's still a lot of junk in here, it looks like. But
Where's
it's way
What junk?
Well, I mean, that stuff back there looks like a bunch of junk. Over here, some junk.
What's the junk?
I don't know. It looks like a ladder.
Oh, I thought you
Step
wanted
stool.
that.
I didn't even know anything about it.
Yeah, it's been here when we first moved in. I said, "Oh, look at this! It's a flip step shelf thing." And he said, "Oh, I could redo that." And I'm like, "All right." So there it is. I can burn it. I'll burn it and get rid of it, I guess. But yeah, how much room do we have in here now?
Is that ever going to be used?
Well, I don't know. Do we need to roll out our lawn where I drove the tractor through it or anything? Or
Well, I mean, you say that. Was you ever planning on? I mean, because we had a dumpster that we could have got rid of it.
why would you get rid of a all metal drum in a trash dumpster? If anything goes to scrap, that would be scrap.
Oh, we're not doing the scrap anyway, so who cares where it goes?
Well, I'm saying if I was to get rid of it,
Yeah.
I would have given it to the scrap guy. I wonder what this is here. Oh, it's where we drug the table. Look. I was trying to figure out what that is, but look how big it is in here.
Yep. Too bad it stinks like bird shit in here.
Just need to get the pressure washer back here and clean all these
That's just
windows.
a waste. That's a waste.
I need to, knock down all the bird's nests, clean out all the blast all these windows up top here to get rid of the darkness, and then on the outside blast the windows, and it would let a lot more light in here.
I don't know about that.
You don't think that would let a lot more light in? Look how dirty it is. Just look here, you can see it this way.
For like a month.
What do you mean?
Or two.
You think that dirt would all, hun, that's accumulation of years of dirt.
I know.
Look at it.
I know. But
Once that's blasted clean, it'll take years to get like that again.
Are you going to actually work out here then?
What does it, okay, if I don't work, let's just burn the place, because I'm not going to do anything out here.
Well, I mean, it's a worthless building. You can't, it's just for storage.
Well, then how could it be worthless if it's for storage?
Well, that's the only thing you could use it for.
What else would I use it for? What else would I do out here?
I know, but you also talked about wanting a shed when we have this.
Because of the fact that whatever we put in the shed, this would still be potentially exposed to moisture from the ground, moisture from the roof where the leaks are, and whatever rodents might be back here, because it's not sealed off.
Right.
And whatever bird crap is going on back here. So
I know, but in other words...
So you're saying, since I can't put 8 inches of rebar concrete in here and electrify the whole place and have it all the birds removed and all that stuff, since I do all that, I should just not do anything. Because I could have done nothing from the beginning. We didn't even have to have a roll-off. I mean, you should be able to clean it up and use it to some extent. What do you think about your garden?
Oh, I'm glad it's gone.
I don't see anything coming up in there.
Nope.
I thought for sure something would still try to make its presence known.
Ooh, something stinks.
It's musty. So I've got the hitch on here. Did you see the hitch? Other than where I sent the pictures to you?
Yeah.
I definitely have to redo this because I know that the tension is too much now. I've been thinking about it, and I know for a fact that the tension is too much. But yeah, that's a thing. Maybe I'll do that today. What do you got planned for today anyways? It's your day off.
I'm going to go to Walmart.
Oh, so you're not going to hang out at the house? You're gonna
No, I'm just doing that in the dollar store and then coming back.
Okay.
I just shut down the camera, and I thought, you know what, maybe somebody don't understand exactly what I'm doing here. You don't want to redistribute the weight. You don't want to put too much back on the truck and the trailer. You have to have some weight on your back axle and on the hitch for it to operate correctly. You just don't want it to be too much, and you want to get back some of that front end height. Like I said, because of this truck having a camper package on it, or a towing package, and this camper not being very heavy at all, this truck can handle the camper as far as the weight goes without weight distribution. But it's a good idea to have it, because again, it does put back a 1/2 inch that I lose on the front whenever the trailer's on there with no weight distribution being connected. The reason you don't want too much weight to be taken off of the truck, and I'm talking about redistributing too much back to the front and back to the trailer axles, is because then you're stressing your frame. You're causing problems with these frames. You got to remember that. Look at this piece of metal. Look how long it is. The last thing you want to do is take this piece of metal that is rated to carry so much over that kind of a distance and increase it by hundreds of pounds. That would be as if you bolted, 6 batteries on the front, a generator, 30-pound propane tanks, and a bike rack, and then your hitch. That just way too much weight on just the tongue, and it will start to where it will fold. It will make this A-frame fold from where it's connected to the trailer. You don't want that, especially if you go over some sort of an incline or something. that has an undulation in it or a sharp, change in elevation, like a driveway or an apron or something, that will cause a lot of stress here to the point where you could break your frame or fold your frame. So yeah, you don't want that. That was something that I struggled with our Terry camper, because the Terry camper, in the instructions, which we had the original booklet from the 1992 Terry by Fleetwood, they had in the instructions what the frame was rated for, and it said you should never have any more than 450 pounds of weight redistribution on the tongue. Well, remember we mounted that generator on the front. That's why I had the guy weld it, and I just didn't bolt on some sort of a bracket system, because they make those generator trays that bolt on the front. I had that guy weld to the frame, and he essentially reinforced the frame. He made it stronger because he put on some extra bracing to give it extra strength. Well, that's the same with this. Even though I don't know what the rating is, I know that this frame rail isn't that big. It's just a tube, it's a square tube from front to rear. It's not solid. It's not an I-beam or anything like that. So it's not really rated for a lot of weight in the first place. And you adding too much weight redistribution is just going to cause that much more. So that's what I'm doing. Basically what I'm trying to accomplish here is, again, I'll do it off camera because there's going to be a lot of, me fooling around with stuff. But basically what I'm trying to do is make it to where when the truck is not quite this high, or maybe this is the max, I can take those bars and just put them up there by hand, that I don't even need a wrench or anything to put them up there. At that point, I know that we'll be okay, and that the weight's all right. Okay, so I think I got it now. It didn't take very long. I think I've only been off camera here for maybe 10 minutes. The back end of the truck is currently elevated to the level that I feel pretty comfortable with when setting up your bars. And you've seen this in plenty of videos, that people will take and elevate their hitch, their truck, basically using their hitch jack to lift the tongue of the trailer and the back of the truck with the ball. I don't really have a problem with that. I think it's okay. I can't see any downside to that, as long as you don't go crazy. But that's what this is. This, for me, just hooking and unhooking trailers for as long as I did there. I know what is considered to be way too much off of the back of the truck. Now, the other thing to consider is, if you're on any kind of a hill or anything, and you start taking weight off of your truck using this jack, at some point, the parking mechanism that keeps the wheels from spinning, you're going to lose traction on one or the other wheel, and the truck's going to move if you're on a hill. I don't think I would do it even this high necessarily if I was on any kind of an incline, because there's a chance that the one of the tires might start skipping, and of course the other one just starts rolling. That's kind of the way the parking mechanism works. Although this truck has electronic parking brakes, so it may not do that. I don't know that much about that, how that system works, and I don't really care, to tell you the truth, as long as it works. But in this case, this is about as high as I would like to elevate it. And you could see that the distance that I have here is not very much at all. We only have just a few inches, and there's still going to be tension on the bar, as there's tension on the other side right now. So we'll go ahead and set you down here, and hopefully I can get a decent angle, and the wind's not going to blow you around. You'll still be able to hear me. But at this point, it's just a matter of hooking this up in here, like so. And that's really all the tension that I want on there. Now, that may seem like a lot that I just did, but I could take this off if I wanted to by hand. You can see it's on there. And I've got these bars slightly twisted a little bit so that the sliding effect on here between this bar and this L bracket is evenly across the entire surface of this L bracket. Now, I've got some pads that are coming that will add a little bit of height to this.
but will also make it more quiet. And of course, the pins. You can see, I don't know if you guys have picked up on that yet, but I don't have the pins that latch that in yet. It doesn't make a difference when setting it up. You just need them, of course, when you start transporting. So I think we're pretty close here. Again, I've got to take this for a ride, but I got to wait for Amazon to deliver my L brackets. And as it's looking right now, I don't think it's going to happen today. I love that. They say it's going to come the next day. How many of you guys have this? Because we have a history of it. It's the same thing. You order something and it says it's going to come the next day. And then it doesn't ship until about 10 a.m. And they say it's going to be delivered today. You know, you're getting it today. And then it will start saying the time frame. Oh, your delivery is going to happen between 2 and 4. Your delivery is going to happen between 3 and 5, something like that. And then later on the day, as it gets closer to 5, it says, oh, your delivery's changed. It's changed from 5 to 7 or 4 to 7, something like that. And then nothing, you know, as closer gets to 5 o'clock, or sometimes it goes past 5 o'clock. And then all of a sudden it says, your stuff's still coming today. Your delivery changed between 7 and 10. You know, you're going to get it between 7 and 10. And then the closer it gets to 10, it'll say, once it surpasses that, your stuff is still coming, but you usually don't. And then all of a sudden I get a notification around 10:30 that, oh, we're sorry, your item was delayed. It will be re-delivered for tomorrow. And then you would think that they'd want to get it to you first thing in the morning, but they don't. They just put it on a normal delivery, and you usually get it around 1 to 3 o'clock. It happens every single time out here. So right now I show that it's shipped. But it doesn't say it's out for delivery. Ooh, it's a little chilly outside, and I'm starting from out here because I forgot my camera out in the garage last night. And the whole reason is because I thought I was going to come back out here and install, you know, this, and I was going to film it. I didn't get to. They came late last night. So you can see what came last night. These are a little bit more unique than the ones that used to come with these bars initially, and I was concerned because in the video or in videos that I saw, they show that these L bars are like laying right above the top of these bars, and I thought, ooh, I wonder if they're supposed to be keeping them in place. On the original ones, they move really freely. Even though they sit up on top of the bar, they're allowed to move freely before they hit the stop below. This one just holds it up a little higher. And I kind of like this one a little better. And I did put in those, you know, these are the plates or the plastic or whatever. We'll see how long that lasts. But I'll have to say that it looks pretty decent. So they say 3 inches. Oh, yeah. They say it should have 3 inches minimum, and it is. It's 3 inches. And it's so whenever you're turning really tight, that the bar doesn't lose the surface in which it's on, and it falls off. Okay, so we're all set up back there. I pulled the bars off because I forgot to lubricate the round bar part that slips up into the hitch. And let's see what else. I had to change the emergency brake, or whatever you want to call it, the breakaway cable. The guy that had this before me just had it hooked to his, you know, the chains, which I know a lot of people do that, and you know, I don't feel one way or the other about it. I mean, I think that if the trailer hitch falls apart, that's one thing. But if the chains fail, I mean, at that point, you definitely want the brakes to come on, because the chain should stop everything. I don't know. I mean, technically, you should have your breakaway, from what I gathered, not that I know for sure, you're supposed to have your breakaway cable attached to the vehicle, not the hitch, not even the receiver. So again, what I'm being told, it's supposed to have, or what I've heard. It's supposed to be to the vehicle. And if you think about it, there's a lot of people, their hitch fails, especially in Northeast Ohio where everything's rusty. I've had vehicles that if I would hook up this trailer to it and just go down the road a little ways and hit a few bumps, the whole hitch would just rip off from the rusty frame that it was bolted to. At that point, there's, everything stays attached. The hitch is still connected to the ball. The ball is still connected to the receiver. The shank is still in the receiver of the hitch. The chains are still hooked up to the hitch, and also the breakaway would still be hooked up to the hitch. And there lays your hitch, or I should say, there's your hitch being drugged by a 8,000 pounds travel trailer going down the road with no braking in sight until it hits something. Whereas if the breakaway cable was attached to the truck somewhere, once that whole hitch assembly fell off, it would then, pull the emergency brake or pull the brake pin and cause it to lock up. But again, I don't know. The other thing I got to play around with is the brake effort. I had it set on medium and it just didn't seem like enough. And I don't know, I'm assuming, this is a big assumption, but I think it's probably accurate. Probably the guy that had this before didn't know what he was doing, and he's probably burned up the brakes to the point where they need replaced. Because at medium effort on this truck, I would think that would be about right. The truck is rated to tow, who knows, 10,000 pounds, whatever they say, 9,000 pounds. I'm not sure. It depends on the weight and how it's loaded and all that other stuff, and how much weight's on the axle and payload and all that. But even if it was 9,000 pounds, that would be maximum effort at that point, that the brakes would need to be applied. This is only, as it sits back there, maybe I'll give it 4,500 pounds, maybe. It's just an assumption. I'm pretty sure that's probably right. So that's half. So I would think medium would be it, right? Medium brake pressure. But it just didn't seem like enough whenever we went. So I'm not sure there. But yeah, I'm just going to take this for a ride. I don't really think I can shoot video. I got another camera here, but I was looking, I'm like, how am I going to set this thing up? I just don't see a way to do it. Well, everything seems okay. A little bit of a bumpy ride. Again, it's so hard to compare because the Rockwood that we had, it had the torsion bars, torsion suspension, which is definitely smoother than leaf spring. And it's independent. They're not, one side's not really connected to the other as far as suspension goes. So they all act independently. I just went down a bumpy road and it was pretty bumpy, I'll have to say. And then as far as the truck and getting tossed around a little bit, yeah, slightly. It's slightly, again, this is an F-150. I can't stress enough, and even though I try and just keep on repeating myself, to how much better a Super Duty is towing. I mean, it's a lot better. It's just a lot better. Let me hope I don't repeat myself again on that. I'm sure I already said it 4 times in just this video. But I think this is pretty doable. I mean, it's definitely better than our old F-150 that we started our channel with. That truck just, you felt there was some squatting and squirreliness going on in the back end around the axle, and I don't feel that here. And of course, it hardly had any power. Well, this has plenty of power. That's not the issue. I mean, that's the one thing everybody says whenever they, talk about my truck's got plenty of, got so much power, that thing pulls it like, whatever. And that's not it. It's stopping it. It's, maneuvering. It's just feeling more in control. And a lot of people, I don't think, have the experience to know what that feels like necessarily. So they don't really know what, pretty good control is over a trailer. So in this case, this one's not too bad. I'm going to get up on the highway here and see what it's like. So here we are getting on 82. I haven't been on this road a long time. I was just on this road the other day to go pick up this hitch. So we'll see what this is like. I'm sure, again, it's not about the power, so I'm not really going to flog that. It's got plenty of power. We're going up a hill even. I just want to feel what the ride characteristics are at speed. Let me roll up the windows because it's a bit noisy. Okay, we're at 60. Pretty comfortable going over some bridge, what do you call those? Separations, I guess you could call. Wow, you know, you can tell I don't have a Pro Pride back there. I just felt a wind gust, and that is really strange. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that this truck is one of the shortest trucks in length that I've had for a long time. Everything I've ever owned has been extended cab long bed or crew cab long bed. So they have a regular cab, but yet a long bed. Yeah, this thing is a little bit on the shorter side, you know, in length. And the fact that the trailer is pretty much the same length as the truck that's towing it, you know, that's something, right? But yeah, it seems okay. But it's funny. I mean, I can feel wind gust. I can feel the trailer actually making a change to the way that the truck is driving, which is really odd because that Pro Pride does not allow that at all. You just don't feel that. So it's kind of funny. It's a little strange, but yeah, it's doing okay. I'm up to 65, drifting around a little bit there. And I'll be honest, I think the truck might need an alignment. It's got older tires on it. They're okay tires, and they got great tread, so I'm keeping them. They may need a little bit of balancing, possibly. The trailer, like I said, the tires on those, it's been sitting for basically 2 years. So we've got tires that are 3 years old that have been sitting for 2 years. So that's something. But yeah, pretty good. Up to 67 here. Let me get off and put a good effort into what I feel in the seat of the pants without holding the camera. Okay, so the highway trip was just fine. I got a couple photos here to slide in off my phone, and that is of I pulled into a truck stop that's relatively close to where we're at, and I cut the wheel all the way to the left and circled to get the tightest turn that I possibly could with the truck. And I did it all the way to the left and all the way to the right, and this is basically what it looked like at the where the weight distribution bars slid on those L brackets. I wanted to make sure that I couldn't go so far that I might pull them out, which I couldn't, and I didn't. And I wanted to make sure that the truck, I wasn't in possibly going to jackknife and hit something even during, a turn. Because if you have a vehicle that'll turn tight enough, you can jackknife your trailer against your bumper, against the tanks or your tailgate or something like that. I can't, not with this one. So we're looking at, I guess, the ability to do a trip. I'm trying to imagine when I had the 97 F-250, the blue and white truck, and the Terry camper, and when we did that trip, down through Florida for a couple weeks. I'm trying to imagine what that felt like as far as driving and towing compared to what this is like driving and towing, and I guess it's okay. I think this is still all right, but anyways, we'll get back to the house and maybe talk about it a little bit more. Well, now that we're back at the house here, or I'm back at the house, I shouldn't say Heidi's at work, but she's off tomorrow. What I wanted to do is a couple things. Getting the trailer perfectly level, which it is from front to rear especially. Side to side, this side is ever so slightly higher. You can't even really indicate it very well on a level. The level is, you could just see the bubbles just slightly high on this side. But since I have all this set up the way that I do, I thought that this might be a good time to try and connect the Pro Trailer Backup Assist. Now, if you guys remember, that was an option that was available on our F350, but not on our F250. What happened was in 2019, the Super Duty, if you wanted, you could get the 360 cameras, which we did. We love. I still love them. They work really well. But they didn't have the Pro Trailer Assist available on the Super Duties. Not in 2019 at least. So in 2020, we said, hey, we want those 360 cameras again. And they said, well, unfortunately, you get it's a much more expensive package now. Instead of, a $370 upcharge for the cameras, it's like $1,300 because you have to get the Pro Trailer Backup Assist. And I'm like, well, we don't really need it, but okay. Well, when we had our travel trailer, we never used it. We didn't connect it or anything like that. But with the fifth wheel, it was real simple. I had what they call a yaw, Y-A-W kit, that I just adhered to the tongue, or the pin, I should say, of the RV. And of course, those cables then went into the bed and connected in a separate connector that was available in the bed, right next to the 7-way connector. And it could tell when the RV was at all different types of angles. And based on that information, I could back up the fifth wheel using with a knob on the dash. Well, when we got this truck, again, it has a towing package that they ordered with it. And one of the options was, in addition to the towing mirrors and some heavier suspension setup, it came with that Pro Trailer Backup Assist. So I figured I'd set that up, but it's going to require, I've got to measure a bunch of stuff. I got to measure like from the corner of the bed to the RV, I think, and I got to measure from the camera down to a decal. I got to measure from the center of the ball over to a decal. I got to place a decal on there. So there's a lot of little stuff that I got to do for that to work. I just want to try it out. I like playing around with that. The coolest thing about it, let me tell you the one coolest thing about it. When you put your truck into reverse, or before you put the truck into reverse, maybe it is when it's in reverse, I can't remember right now, it's been so long. You push the button on the dash and it says, Pro Trailer Backup Assist, whatever. And at that point, it wants you to like pull forward and just a smidgen and then put it in reverse again, something to that effect. And from that point on, you leave it in reverse and you no longer have to steer the steering wheel. You use the knob on the dash and the camera. And what's nice about that is if you want the trailer to go right, you just turn it right. And if you want the trailer to go left, you turn it left. No big deal. You can do that with a steering wheel. I mean, we all know how to back trailers at this point. That's a nice assist. It makes it a little, you're not doing this with the wheel. You're just turning the knob. So it makes that a little easier, I guess. But the best part by far is if you have to get in at a weird angle and then you have a straight shot to where you need to put the trailer, once you use that backup assist to get exactly the trailer lined up, your trailer, as long as it's lined up to the straight shot that it needs to go into, you can just let go of the knob, and that tells the system the trailer is it pointed in the correct direction at that point, and you can just use the gas and brake, and it will keep that trailer straight. It'll do everything it can to keep the trailer straight. It'll turn the wheel to the left, the right, whatever it takes. So let's say I've got a big field, and I'm wanting to park in the back of the field, and it's a long, straight road, perfectly straight. If you get the trailer perfectly straight with that perfectly straight road, as long as you have that assist on, you don't touch the knob at all, and you just give it the gas and the brake as you need. And like I said, the steering will do everything it can to keep that trailer perfectly straight all the way back. As long as you got it set up correctly, it'll just keep on driving it right back to where it needs to be, with no input at all with you guys, with you at that point. It knows. So that is cool. Okay, so I got the Pro Trailer Backup Assist going. It was a lot of fun. I was backing up here and straight. Like I said, it's just fun to play with a little bit. You can see the decal that's here. That's what it looks at whenever you start activating it. And it works, of course, it works really well. It's pretty cool. Like I said, I like the idea that once you have it straight, you can just cut it loose. All right, so what do I got going on here? Although this is a non-drinking hose, thing is the hose, where this hose is connected to at this side of the house, they used to wash cars there, or they like to use that to wash their cars. So there's 2 filters downstairs. So let me put it this way. The water comes out of the well, it goes through a sediment filter, it then goes through the softener, and then it goes over and goes through a carbon filter and another sediment filter of some kind. Then it comes out in this hose, and then I'm bringing it through, and it's going through a rust guard, and then it's going through another carbon powder filter, and then it's going into the RV. And the reason is because I told Heidi, I said, hey, I'm all hooked up and everything, you're off tomorrow, do you want to go up to the campground? And I said, I can get an electric only site. We can't get a full hookup site. I said, I can get an electric only site, and it's close to the shower house if you want to do that. And she said, sure. So, yeah, so I guess we're hopping up, going to Mosquito. So I guess that's answering our question of what we are going to end up doing, being so close to that campground, and how we're going to utilize it. It looks as if we're going to actually utilize it, we're going to, I don't know, we're going to use it as we see fit. I don't know how else to describe it. It's so close. Why wouldn't we use it? Why wouldn't we go there? The only thing that I'm thinking about is, I think I'm going to use this surge protector, and we'll use the surge protector. Let me grab this. I got that filling up. I'll run back to the house here and grab more stuff later. Definitely. I just want to get the camper out there and get it parked in its spot. So when Heidi gets off work this evening, at least that'll be done and all ready to go. Oh, I got to get the internet too. Forgot about that. Lots of little things. We'll get it down pat where we can fly through this relatively quick, but and I'm filling up that freshwater tank. I don't care. Like I said, we're only going 3 miles, so I'm going to put 400 pounds of water in there. And again, it's because we only have an electric only site, and that'll be plenty of water. Well, I didn't realize that it was going to be a Thanksgiving or a Halloween thing that was going on. So we've got a bunch of activities that our grandson would enjoy, but he's only going to be here tomorrow after school. But you can see our site, and look how close it is to the shower house. I don't even know why I put water in the tank, It's pretty level site. It's not bad. I had to put a couple boards on the other side, and then there's a gray water dump there. I guess I could, if I wanted to, try to pump gray in there. I don't think I would. Let me think. The left handle in the sink is stripped for the hot water. So I got it rigged up right now and it's working, but who knows what's going to happen. And you can see the stabilizers aren't down. That's because I forgot my drill. I think there might be a wrench somewhere. Nah, I don't know. And then I didn't put the awning out.
Of course, the power's good here. Of course, like I always say, EasyCom, our internet's great. It's T-Mobile. It's 300 down and 15 up for the uploads. And I just got it sitting on the table in there. I don't have it propped up or anything, just sitting on the table. So that's nice. And because of that, I've got a phone in there, an old Android phone. I shouldn't say old, it's only maybe 3 years old, but it's an old phone to us that we don't have any service on it or anything. So it's connected to the internet through that. And right now it's recording me standing out here. So that's kind of nice. And then of course I can flip it and you can see the back side if you want to do that also, out the back window. So I opened up the back window, but we're all locked up here, I think. Let me make sure. Yeah. And, yeah, I got to go back to the house to get that drill. And there was something else, maybe a screwdriver. And I know there's something else too. I forgot what it was like to have a hitch sticking out of the back of the truck. You know, for 2 years, we had a big stinger always sticking out the back, which is essentially the same thing. That's a nice blue color. I think it's blue. All right, let me get my butt out of here and go back to the house. And then we'll join back later when Heidi gets here. Good morning, YouTube. We're making an escape. We're escaping the campground early this morning. Heidi's with us, as you can see. She came in late last night because she closed and went back to the house. And look at all these decorations for Halloween. This place is loaded with them. So anyways, we're going to run back to the house since we don't have water necessarily. I mean, I have a full freshwater tank, but we're going to run back. Why do people always walking the road? Well, I guess they're walking the right direction. So the idea that we're going to run away from here is that we're probably ticked off the little neighborhood. So yesterday, not on purpose. Yesterday when I left, I love how these people park down in the ditch. Just to let you know, guys, I don't care how new your vehicle is or anything. You really don't want to leave your vehicle on a steep angle like that because it puts all the oil in the oil pan up against the seals, whatever that may be. If the front end's up real high, it's the rear main seal. If the front end's real low like that, it's the front main seal. And I mean, it's just, I don't know. They shouldn't leak, but I'm just saying. Especially if your vehicle's got some miles on it like mine, I'm sure it would. But anyways, off topic, obviously. When I came back from, or when I left here, I dropped off the RV, and then I needed to go back to the house to get some more stuff. So I ran back to the house, and during the time that I ran back to the house, the truck ran fine. There was no issues, no worries. But on the way out of the house, coming back to the campground, I seen my hood latch light came on. I was accelerating the truck pretty hard out of the driveway, and I didn't think much about it. I had just checked the oil, and the hood was slammed closed, so I know it was closed. But it kind of surprised me that I seen that light come up on the dash. So now to the point of ticking off the neighbors. My truck, for whatever reason, even if I lock the doors with my finger, it used to be, I thought, that you had to take your key fob and make the horn beep for your alarm to be set on the truck. So when I got out of the truck, I pushed the button on the door for it to lock, so I didn't make the horn beep. However, that must also set the alarm in the truck, because at 1:16 in the morning, I awoke to honk, 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 honk. And the truck's horn's a little loud. And, of course, it's flashing the lights and all that stuff at 1 in the morning.
I'm like, oh man, I can't believe that happened. This stinks. But I had the keys relatively close to me on purpose for that reason, because randomly, and I'm talking like once a month, if that, the alarm just goes off on the truck, and we haven't, I didn't really look into it because it happens back at the house. So here we are then at 6 in the morning, and the alarm's going off. Again, this time I'm having a harder time finding the keys that I placed somewhere near me at 1 in the morning out of a sleepy stupor. So I didn't put them exactly back where I thought I did. So I was kind of running my hands around it. Needless to say, which is a lot, at that time in the morning. Shortly after that, within 20 minutes, I have a camera set up in the truck. And within 20 minutes, I seen what's that guy called? The ranger. The park ranger had come through the park. And it wasn't like he was making rounds necessarily. It looked as if he was coming through the park down our road. Specifically, because he drove down, we're close to an intersection, so he drove straight past our place. And then, like, another 2 minutes later, he did it again. And then I didn't see him at all. So I'm sure somebody called. So my truck's back at the campground. It's unlocked. I don't think I'd have a problem, though. I've got a camera set up in there that I can view. I could view it right now if I wanted to. But, yeah, I looked at it. Of course, it's 6 in the morning. And I don't know how you guys operate. I operate kind of strange whenever stuff like that happens. So I'm thinking, I wonder what that is. And of course, I'm tired. I want to go back to sleep, but I went ahead and I ordered a new hood latch assembly with a new sensor, because it's actually kind of the same money, and it's just easier to replace all of that. Because again, I guess it's a common problem. And the fact that I seen that hood latch light on yesterday for the first time ever, just briefly, I'm going to assume that's what the problem is. We're headed back to the house. We're going to go ahead and hit the showers. The shower house there is fine. We could use it. Just a little cold. It was 41 last night, and we didn't have the heat on. Matter of fact, we just had the fan on and the rooftop air conditioner. So it got pretty chilly last night. But we were comfortable. We slept well. For the most part,
because it's chilly in the bathroom.
Well, the bathroom has no heater vent whatsoever, which is dumb.
Yeah, that is kind of dumb.
So we had an accident down here the other day, and I can't for the life of me see where it's at.
Well, it looks like all the telephone poles are here still.
Yeah, even on our scanner, though, we heard that they said something about a pole needs replaced. Oh, well, that don't make any sense.
No.
And I don't see anything on the road, or I don't know what happened, but there was supposed to be an accident down here somewhere. And we heard on the scanner they said something about a pole broken by Airport Road, and that's Airport Road. Well,
They're nosy being nosy.
yeah. So today we'll explore a little bit more when our grandson gets here. I don't know what time that's be, 3, 4 today. And he'll get to go check out all the stuff. I don't know if they're having trick or treat or what there. Boy, our house pops up fast. You can see how close it is. That's why we don't mind running back. Our beautiful home. Well, we finished up at the house, and if you make a left out of the campground and go down to the first traffic light, make another left, you'll be on 305, and 305 will take you to this juncture.
Turn left on
basically.
State Route 305.
And this is the way to get to a whole bunch of restaurants. Now, you don't have to go this way. You can go, to these stores and stuff. You can go the other way.
Turn left on McCleary Jacoby Road.
You can go in the other direction at that, or stay straight at that traffic light instead of making the left to get to 305 or onto 305. You'll cross 305 and just continue straight, and you'll be in a whole slew of Walmart, everything you can imagine. I talked about that in a previous video. If you haven't seen that, go look at our last video, I believe it was. So or which would be the one just prior to this. So we're heading over to a restaurant we heard about. I don't know. Heidi says, guy, what's his name, was here, right?
They don't have,
In half a mile, turn left.
I think they have a 4.2 star.
Ugh. Well, that's all right, I guess.
And we're kind of in between breakfast and lunch, so.
Do they sell lunch? It says it's a diner, right? So this is the asphalt company we need to get to redo our complete driveway if we felt like it. That's what I've been told by a few people. There you go. This is Lakeside Sports Shop. Guarantee they sell everything you need for the campground there. And then this is the Imagination Station Park that they're putting in $500,000 worth of playground renovations. Although we can see it, you're not going to see it on the camera. Oh, the damn turkeys are out there. But yeah, that's obviously we went there with our grandson, and it was nice. He got to play on it when it was the old park. So when he's 80 years old, he can say, I remember when it was the old park. But by then, that park will be gone. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know where we're going.
Turn left on McCleary Jacoby Road.
I remember this. So we're going to head to this restaurant, check it out. Maybe we have breakfast, maybe we have lunch, maybe we don't have either, maybe they're closed. I don't know. Good morning, YouTube. We're not going to disturb Heidi because she is in the process of getting up slowly. The park is packed in pretty good. It's the whole Halloween thing is in full effect, so everybody's doing that. I guess they have just a couple of weekends that they do Halloween, and smartly, they do it at the beginning of October, the end of September and the beginning of October, which they should, because Ohio, it could be snowing and nobody's going to be out wanting to RV or trick or treat when it's snowing. So it's kind of nice that they're doing it when the weather is warm, and it just so happens that it's really warm this time of year. Let's see. I came out here to use the restroom. I'm not going to use the restroom in the RV. We used it, but we didn't use it the way that we normally would because the shower house is so close. And I thought, you know what? I didn't show you guys what the bathrooms and shower house looks like here. Now, there's another set of showers that are across from what they call nature play. And I'm going to have to say that those showers over there are pretty nice. They're not bad. They're older, but there's like 7 showers to each side, and then there's like 3 bathroom stalls. And it's the way you expect. I'm trying to see which one's which. Okay, somebody's in that one. I can hear the shower running. I checked this one earlier, and it's locked. It's not locked. Okay. Wow. So, look at that spider. Well, that's not a spider, that's like a hornet or something. Yeah, it's like a hornet. It was a big one. So, earlier, I came over here to use the bathroom, and this door was locked, and I assumed somebody was in here, but I didn't hear anybody. I can tell somebody had taken a shower in here. Oh yeah, for sure. So this is it. Each one of these doors, let me think, there's 1, 2, 3, 6. There's about 6 of these little things here. And you see they got a changing station, which probably turns out to be a place for somebody to put their clothes, possibly. This step, stool, seat to get dressed far away from the shower makes perfect sense. And of course, shower hook, soap bar. I mean, they're pretty decent showers. It's okay. It's, of course, toilet, hand dryer, all good. But I thought I'd show this to you. And like I said, you can just imagine this 6 times over. All right, let me use the restroom. It is awful pleasant outside, and I don't think that we're going to find a nicer place as far as being this close. You can see we didn't have to walk very far, right? How nice is that? We're real close. It's delightfully close. Oy. But it's time to pack up. The nice thing is I don't have to unhook sewer hose. The bad news is I gotta go to the dump station though. Let's go see what it looks like in here. Heidi's still in bed. Look, you can hardly see her. I don't know if you can see her. Well, maybe a little.
I'm good.
All right, so we're gonna just kind of. Oh, it's warm and it got warmer. I turned on the little furnace. Thank God we have a real thermostat in here now. Makes it so much easier. Let me kick off my shoes and start the day. So when you leave the park, you can see here's the camp store and the check-in and all that. There's all the dumpsters, and you have 2 dump stations. And it looks like they have a rinse also. Of course, we don't have a black tank flush, but I wanted to pull on the camera real quick here and ask you guys, how many of you just get the nozzle real close to the hole and then put the brick on it to hold it open and just say and pull it and let all your black tank just run all over and then hose it down after the fact into the hole? Because it's not really the way you're supposed to do that. But I know a lot of people, they do it. It says right there, holding tank disposal instructions, connect your hose to holding tank. It's basically the same thing that you do at the campsite. You would actually connect a hose up to the hole so you could dump it in safely. But I just thought I'd run that past you because the last person that came through here, obviously, unless they had a big boo-boo, yeah, there's no reason for it. Make sure you hook the hose up. I know it's an extra step, but just do it.
well, back where it was. Actually, I think I get a little bit closer this way. You know, I seen something on TV, on YouTube, and I wanted to try it out. These round bars, I assumed that you had to pull these pins to lock the bars in, and you don't. You just have to push them up and they latch. I also assumed that you had to pull those pins to release the bars, and you don't. All you do is take the bar, if it's, you know, in this direction here, and you just keep on swinging it till it becomes greater than perpendicular to the bumper, or less than perpendicular to the bumper, however you want to look at it. And at that point, the way this notch is built, it pushes the pin out for you, and the bar drops. If you didn't know that, try it out. If you got the same type of bars, that's why the notch is cut the way that it is. So I've got to do some unloading of the RV. I had to hurry up and get the trash out to the road, because our trash men, as long as the trash is to the road by 9 a.m., I believe it is, on the day that they're supposed to run, they usually will pick it up. Well, it was 8:48, and as far as I can tell, they haven't run yet. But everybody out here has different trash service, which that's the way it used to be where I lived, you know, where Heidi and I lived over in Beloit. You know, you just pick the trash service that you want. But then when we moved to Warren, you only had one trash service, the city of Warren. And they did a good job, I'll have to say. That was probably one of the best things about the city, that, and the water was pretty good. The water pressure, everything else. Okay, so why am I migrating over here? Again, we've been talking about this for some time. If let me think how to phrase this. Okay, well, forget phrasing. Let's just be blunt about it. If my neighbor needs to come over into my yard, or they feel as if they need to come into my yard to do tree trimming, if you go over to the neighbor's house, you don't go to the back door if you've never been invited to use the back door. You go to the front door. That's number one. Number two, when nobody answers the door, that doesn't mean, oh, okay, well, I'm going to do it anyways. You didn't garner permission. That doesn't mean that you can do whatever you want. I think that's the problem here. Now, the funny part about all of it is, I'm glad that she trimmed the tree limbs that were hanging over the fence. There's still a lot hanging over the fence, but she just wanted to come over here, to be coming over here, because she pulled the tree limbs down with a rake or something. She had 3 people with her, and then she trimmed the tree branches that she could get to. Then she went back on her side of the fence and then trimmed the branch at the tree, when she could have just trimmed the branch at the tree the whole time. I don't know what I don't know if there's a psychological term for this or what, but there's some sort of fascination with that. She wants to use our property, trespass on our property, think it's her property, use the property the way she sees fit. Literally $12,000 worth of fence, and she's still finding her way in there. Not only that, but that gate does not have a latch for her to use, and yet somehow she got it unlatched and came through the gate to get to the back door. That gate is for us to go out and maintain that side of the fence. That's all it's for, to maintain our property. And you could see again where she sprayed and killed all that. So here's the thing. I'll have a story for you, because
I'm past a certain point. I'm past the point, because now there's no two ways, there's no argument, there's no mistaking, there's no indication that it was an accident or she didn't know. It just comes down to nobody's been telling her no, and I'm going to be the first man to probably tell her no in a long time, and she ain't going to like it, because I'm pretty blunt with it. I'll try to go in gentle, but as soon as I get any pushback, any indication of a snark, a sneer, a hand on the hip, an arms crossed, heavy breathing, anything like that, that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and explain it to her in full detail of, no. 2 foot on that side, don't touch it, don't ride on it, don't spray it, don't drive on it, don't dig on it, don't plant on it, don't string trim on it, don't leaf blow on it, don't blow grass on it, don't blow grass on the fence, don't do it. It's not yours. And unfortunately, that's going to be the way it's going to come out of my mouth, and hey, that's what happens. These anti-rattle hitches, you got to tighten them and tighten them and tighten them. Look at how loose it is. You got to keep on tightening it until this bar gets bent to the point where it can't bend anymore. I never did like that. That's the way it was on our what's that thing called? Yeah, the Pro Pride. Even with the big 2.5 inch receiver or stinger, that's what we had for the Super Duty. It's the bigger hitch. Yeah, I just kept on tightening that bar until it couldn't bend anymore. It was basically, it barely would come off, the thing. It's just, there's really no answer to that anti-rattle, really. I get it. But we're home, and we had a great trip. Our grandson came out. He thought he was going to stay the night. Unfortunately, he had school. And we were, Heidi's working the weekend. It wasn't worked out. We just wanted to have him come out and get to go enjoy the playground, hang out in the camper. And the funny part is, Heidi said to me this morning that she goes, and our grandson's 6 now. I think he just turned 6 in May. So the funny part is even though he's 6 years old, he has been in all 3 of the RVs that we've had, in the last, since he's been alive. Let's just say that. I think it's funny. So yeah, we've had the travel trailer, the Rockwood travel trailer. He came over, and I think he stayed with us. And then he did stay in the fifth wheel, the Rockwood fifth wheel, and then he didn't get to stay the night, but he did hang out with us all day for the most part in this one. So he's enjoying it. We're exposing him to camping, seeing if that's something that piques his interest when he gets older. Like I said, I love fishing, and the main reason is my grandfather used to take me fishing all the time. I mean, it's pretty simple. So did my dad. My dad took me fishing quite a bit too. So, yeah, that's one of those things that when he's young and he gets exposed to this stuff, he might decide he wants to do that when he gets older. Good afternoon, YouTube, and it's another great day. I can't believe it's 84 today. I have to go out to my mailbox and fix this alarm. Remember I talked about that when we were at the campground. The stupid alarm was going off, and that wasn't cool. Oh man, I don't know if I have to take what I got to take off to get to this latch. I know there's a lot of plastic pins. They do plastic pins on everything anymore. I might have to pull some plastic pins, and I got to get to this latch though. Oh, and this wire. Okay, we have a complete different change of plan. What I did was take the hood latch sensor, and after doing some research, seeing that it is nothing more than a simple micro switch, it's funny because, believe it or not, the safety features of a lot of riding lawnmowers are more sophisticated than the safety feature of the hood latch system with that micro switch. So let me tell you what I mean. That hood latch sensor basically says your hood's ajar if it's not closed all the way. The thing is it gets muddied up pretty easy and corroded up, as most hood latches would, because of all the road salt and the dirt and bugs and everything else that it sees, over its lifetime. You would think that they would have done a better job of hiding that or making that switch work in a different manner, but it's just a contact. So when the hood is closed, the contact is closed. It makes those two leads that go to it seem like they're touching. And then, of course, when the hood is slightly ajar, it disconnects and opens those two wires up. And there's numerous reasons why they do that. One, for the safety, letting you know inside the vehicle, hey, your hood's ajar. If you read it, it says it on the dash. And the other reason is for the security. So if you set your alarm on your truck, maybe they're not breaking into the truck. Let's say batteries get even more expensive than they are now. And if you haven't bought a battery for your vehicle recently, you're going to be in a shock for how much they cost. Heidi's talking about $400 batteries at her work, which is just insane. I mean, that's just insane. Of course, they're specialized batteries, but still, even the cheaper ones, you're in the $200, $300 range for some, ones with decent warranties. Same with alternators. Everything's gone up. It's gone up so much. So the idea is that if you have your security system set, maybe they don't want to break in and steal your $150 radar detector or your $80 dash cam, or your $200 GPS. Maybe they want to instead get underneath the hood by popping the latch here through this plastic grill, pulling the cable, and causing the alarm to go off as soon as the hood is popped to tell you, hey, thieves are trying to steal something underneath your hood. And after doing some research, I just see that you just disconnect the wires, twist them together. In my case, I did more than just twist them together. I twisted them, and then I put a heat shrink butt connector on there. Of course, I only used one side of the butt connector, put them both into one side of the butt connector. I crimped it, and then I heated it, and the heat shrink, tightened up everything, sealed it all off, and then I used electrical tape to wrap it the rest of the way. So now the hood latch, the only way you know your hood's ajar is like, for the last, 50 years, you see that your hood's ajar. As you come up to your vehicle, if you see, a gap here, it's like, oh, the hood's unlatched. Or even if you're driving down the road, you should be able to tell. It'd be moving around in a weird way. There is a safety catch still on there, but I just got rid of that because that's what caused the alarm problems. Oh, it's just beautiful. Look, find the cloud. Anybody find the cloud? Can you see the cloud? There is none. There's no clouds in sight. Yikes. I think I'm going to go back inside. I'm waiting for Heidi to come home. I want her to come home and we can enjoy the day together. That's what I want. The truck needs washed really bad. I could do that. There's something else. Oh, and I need to pressure wash the RV. I could pressure wash the roof if Heidi would let me up there. I would really like to do that, especially before we put it away. Which, no, we're not necessarily putting it away right now. That's why it's still sitting out. Yeah, I'm sure I've got something else to do. Let me figure it out. I've been messing around inside the house quite a bit. The other day I did take care of some mowing and some leaves. Man, was it a dusty mess. Dusty mess. I don't know what the deal is, but, you know, we've been in a drought. And then with them putting up that fence back there, there was a lot of, you know, dirt that they dug up and just kind of got spread out. So that was, it's funny because it was warm enough that I was sweaty. So it's like breading a pork chop. How appropriate. A big fat pork chop. The RV sits. We don't have any intentions of going anywhere anytime soon. Heidi's working kind of more of a normal shift again. Boy, the grass really greened up though. Like I said, I just raised up the cut about an inch and it's really gotten green again. You know, it helped that we had that rain, but you know, you can see the neighbor's grass over there is looking a little brown. I don't know what he was doing. He's been digging up quite a bit of stuff, I think in his front yard or the side of his house or something, and piling it back there. I was kidding around with Heidi and I said, well, the raccoon situation seems to be taking care of itself. She just laughed. The raccoons are slowly getting swatted out on the road. Oh no. What's that, Darwinism? So yeah, I was doing some work the other day and I got really busy. So I gotta get a little bit more organized in here to shoot this video. But I wanted to say hi for the day. Let you know that we are in existence. Sometimes I think that when we don't post a video for a few weeks, it doesn't mean we're not doing something. We're doing something every day. It's just some of the stuff we don't include because it is boring, worse than some of our videos already are. But hope that it's entertaining enough that you guys want to hang on and continue to watch. We picked up, even though it says S, I'm assuming that's a small. I read the review. Yeah, it says compact. I read the reviews on this. This thing is 8 by 16. So 8 foot by, excuse me, it's 7 foot, 7.5 foot. No. It is 7 foot. Let's try this one more time. Okay. Let's read off the carton. It's 7 foot 9 inches by 16 feet. And what it is it went on sale. It had decent reviews. And it went on sale from the normal, well, they said $139, but we seen it at $123, $124 for quite some time. We've been looking at this since we first moved into the house and Heidi started parking her car in the garage over the winter. We noticed that we needed this, and this is a containment mat. So even though the floor is uneven here and it doesn't want to run the water into the drain, this mat will contain it so it doesn't do like it did last winter. And the snow and stuff that melted off her car in the rain, it would run underneath the workbench over here, and it would run up against the wood that's over here, that's sitting on the edge of, you know, the wall. And it of course, it would run over here too. So I checked out, you know, back then, what would be a good solution to that. And I knew they made these containment mats. They're kind of like they got a little lip on them to keep everything in. Thing is it was coming at that time. It was at the end of the winter. We didn't really know what, you know, how things were going to turn out. We still had the fireplace in here. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that was going on. So I just put it off, and I had it in our wish list. And I got a notification the other day that it went on sale, and it was like 17% off of the normal price. Well, they're saying the normal price was $130 something, which that wasn't the normal price. The normal price was like $125 or something like that. But it did drop down to like $117. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger knowing that we're getting into winter. And actually, I was going to get the 18-foot one instead of the 16-foot. And I started reading the reviews, and almost all the reviews are for the 16-foot in length. And I thought, I don't even know what the length is of this garage or anything. Let me get an idea of how long 16 feet is. And once I measured it out, I was like, that's plenty long enough for her car. Maybe my truck, if I had an issue, that would be an 18-footer, maybe even more. But anyways, yeah, like I said, I was working on some stuff. You can see I had a full-blown project going. Let's try that again. Woohoo! Let's try it again. Woohoo! Look at this. Woohoo! These are some of the tools that I was using, and I've yet to put them away or recharge them or anything. I did do some cleanup, so the shop vac's full. I got to empty that. Well, it's been a few days that I've captured anything on camera. You can probably tell by my voice, it's because I got a little bit of a cold thing. There's Heidi. She's home, finally. How many days have you worked?
Oh, it's been a week.
Yeah, it's been a whole week since she's...
I worked 5 days.
Yeah. I'm trying to put up the blind here.
Actually, today's day 8.
Today's what?
Day 8.
That you've been working?
Oh, that I've been sick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Heidi's been... I'm opening the curtains, guys, so the camera's all over the place. Heidi's been... Heidi came home and she said she didn't feel very well.
I went to bed on a Monday night after I ate that bacon, and I said, I think I got a sore throat.
And the funny thing is I didn't feel bad.
You didn't feel bad for like another 3 days.
Yeah, and I was around, obviously I was around her.
Well, I had the worst of it for me, and then you got it the next day.
Yeah, then she talked about how she felt really, really bad. And then the very next day, that was it for me. And then our son got it the same time, identical same time as I did. So, we still, what's yours like? Because you're getting out of it better than I am.
I just have the cough, and then a couple customers, they're like, the cough like lingers for a few weeks.
Yeah.
He says it sucks.
So Heidi, I guess, is working. You're cleaning the house or something.
Well, my mom's coming to stay.
Oh,
with us
yeah,
for a few weeks. So
yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
When I didn't like mop the floors for a couple weeks, and this house is a little dusty.
Yeah, I don't know why the filter. I changed the filter.
Oh, it's just plain dusty.
So we actually had a problem with our home. Something that
We don't know what it is.
we did not expect. So I guess we'll talk about that real quick. In the meantime, let's put Heidi back on the camera for this one. I can't believe that I was just on Facebook Marketplace, and guess what's up for sale?
Oh my gosh!
Can you believe it? Our neighbor that I just talked about the other day, from when we lived in our old house, is put up our old camper for sale. I told Heidi, I said, well, maybe we should call him up and see what kind of friend discount we can get. Just because, I don't know.
It's been like 6 years.
Has it?
Longer.
Let's see, how long has that been? Seriously, how long has it been? 2018 or 19?
So 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, that we sold that. Idea is that the Terry camper, we were trying to remember everything that we disliked about the camper. One of them was that it had an open bottom, open tanks that had to be, let's see, they weren't heated. They were open. Well, the thing is this camper out here, the tanks are all open. They're not heated, which, okay. The other thing that I remember about that RV that we didn't like, or that I didn't like especially, was when we were trying to level the RV, there was a lot of times that we had to raise the RV up with wheel chocks to get it high enough so that we could lower the front end far enough to level it off, even though it was a short RV.
That was mostly happened at West Branch.
West Branch, right. But I think it could potentially happen at other places if we, I don't know. The other thing that I didn't really care for on that one was the air conditioning. You couldn't close off the bedroom from the whole camper with that accordion door and expect to get cool in the bedroom, because the air conditioner was a single source of air. Now, that RV out here, and there, same way. But we do have, it's a curtain. It's not an accordion hard door. And that curtain does allow to where you can let the air come through in a couple of places, right? I mean,
Yeah, it does a pretty good job.
yeah, it does all right.
For what it is.
It had smaller propane tanks. We should have went to bigger propane tanks on that one.
But we never run out.
Yeah, we never run out, but we didn't run the generator a lot either. Remember, that's one of the things we were planning on doing.
If we did, we were running it off gas.
Yes, yeah, the generator was set up, which I'll talk about that in a second, as one of the likes. The other thing that we disliked was, let's see. The seating arrangement on there was just the gaucho couch, or the sleeper couch, and then we added that other seat. That helped, but at no point, well, I guess one person could be sitting at that seat and the other person could be lounging on the couch, you know? No, that couch was long, remember? It's a lot longer than the one that's in the RV we currently have. Let's see, what else? The tanks were all good size. Remember, the tanks were good size on that. It was 50 fresh and 45 gray, 45 black. That was the other thing we didn't care for. The discharge for the sewage was low because the RV's low. So a lot of these problems that I guess we had, if we just raised the RV with like a 2-inch block, that would probably solve a lot of that stuff, you know? But we did like the fact that it was short.
No slides.
Yeah, there was no slides. Let's go ahead and go with the pros. It was easy to tow because it was so short. We installed an entirely new roof, structure, wood, everything from front to rear. So that was good that we knew that the roof was done correctly. It had that generator mount welded on the tongue to the point where then I could put a big Champion generator on the front. And it could run off of propane that was plumbed directly into the RV's propane tanks. I had a cord that was set up that was plugged into the RV. All we had to do is just pull off the side of the road and fire up the generator. I'd take the cover off the generator, fire up the generator. And at that point, we had power in the RV. I love that thing. We did put new tires on it. Of course, they've run those all this time to the point where it's not, I know, those tires aren't as new as they probably need replaced. Let's see. What else? We redid the countertops. Remember, and we made more space than what most RVs have.
Does it have the double sink?
Yeah, even it has way more counter space than the one that's out there now. The one that's out there now is the way that the one that we used to have, the Terry camper, was. We did get rid of the oven. The oven, which I don't know if that's a plus or minus. When we were on the road, we used our oven.
Mostly that's because we lived in it.
Yeah, it's because we lived in it. I don't know if we would...
I like to use the oven. I use the oven quite a bit.
Which we didn't think at the time. That's why we removed the oven, but we did get more storage. We definitely got more storage. And that's something that RV lacked, was storage. There was no pass-through. The only storage it had was in the back. That was a con, that the only storage it had was in the back, and we couldn't put anything really on the bumper because you couldn't access the storage in the back if you put something on the bumper, like a bike rack or something like that.
But you really couldn't put anything on the bumper.
Yeah, the bumper was shot on that anyways. Which that's actually how we got to Mountain Lock. Mm-hmm. We did a video on our Terry camper showing that we put those Mountain Lock bumper supports, excuse me, the Mountain Lock bumper supports on the camper, the Terry camper, and Ralph out there at Mountain Lock saw our video a few years later and said, hey, it looked like your bumper's kind of rusty. Would you be willing to shoot a video showing, my system and how that could be utilized with, your RV? You could put on a new bumper. Well, we had sold the Terry camper at that point, but we did install the Mountain Lock system on our new Rockwood, which worked out awesome. But anyways, let's think what else. The heater was good. The bathroom was small, but no small. It's the same size as the one we got now.
It's actually better than what we have now.
Yeah, I'd have to say that too. Our Terry camper's bathroom is better than the one that we currently have on that RV. Sure. Oh yeah, definitely the shower.
Yeah.
Which the shower wasn't great, but it's definitely better than the one we have. But anyways, I put a new water pump on it, so all the water system, we knew all that stuff. I don't know. We rearranged the front end. We changed. We seen that in the pictures, the carpet is stained pretty heavily. I don't know. Maybe it just needs cleaned real bad.
It was pretty bad whenever we had it. It was pink.
No, Heidi's completely forgetting that we redid that front end and put all new peel and stick in the front.
Peel and stick only in the back.
In the front.
I don't remember that.
I custom made an arch trim piece to match. Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. I just got done saying I didn't remember that.
Yeah, we put all new peel and stick in the front.
I only remember putting the carpet down in the back.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you didn't do the front.
Is it still looks pink in the picture.
Yeah, it's not. It's peel. It's the peel and stick. So there's a lot of nice things. Oh, and the other thing is I set it up to where the battery could be mounted underneath the seat inside the RV. Remember that?
Yeah.
Because we had those two AGMs where now, of course, we'd put a lithium-ion battery. We definitely. But yeah, that it's kind of interesting that it's available. So Heidi said she's going to give him a call and go buy it.
No.
Yeah, we need to upgrade from what we have. None of this reverting back for nostalgia reasons. But if you guys are interested, I mean, it may still be for sale. Just look up Terry Camper on whatever, on Facebook Marketplace.
The people that we sold it to, they actually boondocked, so they didn't use a lot of the amenities that it had.
And they only
did it for one winter.
They did it for one season.
I don't even think that they actually used it after that.
Yeah, so whenever we sold it to them, the camper was on the back of an F-150 that had a 6-cylinder in it. The guy towed it gingerly. He didn't tow it hard. They went out to Idaho. Where was that? It was out west.
Yeah, I don't know. They were camped
on an Indian reservation or something. And then they came back to Ohio briefly and then went to Florida. And they were in Florida for just over the winter, and then they came back to Ohio. And then the RV sat in their driveway for at least a year. Then I think they sold it to their son, or their son had something to do with it for briefly. And I don't think he had a vehicle to tow it with or anything. I think they just towed it to wherever he was at. And then it went to our neighbors briefly. Then it came back to their house and was at their house for another year probably.
Yeah.
And then our neighbor, our old neighbor where we used to live, he bought it. And as far as I know, it has sat in his driveway for at least a year, maybe even longer. So it really didn't get used that much, which that's usually the case with a lot of RVs. All right, so what am I doing today? Let's go ahead and talk about what's going on with our house that's a bad thing. Oop, let me take this remote down. Man, my left arm still don't want to work. Stupid thing. Down in the basement. We'll turn on some lights here. Heidi's got a fan running over here, and you can see the corner and how there's discoloration, right? For some reason, we have clear water that is coming through the wall. Now, I have a hard time believing that we had one rain on one day for I don't know how long, not very long, that this clear water is coming from that. But it is clear water. And you can see it's coming through the block. The block has been discolored. Now, this is the drain for the kitchen sink and the dishwasher, okay? Outside is a clear out, a clean out or whatever. All right. Also, right outside this wall, we're going to see there's going to be another potential cause for the leak. But the whole idea is that the water seems to be clear and clean. I don't understand it because, I mean, you're looking at all this other stuff, this water filtration that I'm showing you, and these filters and that. There are no leaks here. You know, these copper lines, all this stuff, there's no leaks. And even if there was a leak, it wouldn't be coming through the wall, right? And I don't know exactly where we found it, but it was up high here is where it started. So we've only had rain one day, and that was, I don't even remember when. Shoot, I honestly can't remember when it was. Let me grab a little flashlight. But our water detection, or water leak detection that we had down here, me and Heidi was sitting in the living room, and all of a sudden the alarm went off. We didn't even know what the alarm was for, because it used to be for any kind of motion and stuff at our old house. How many days ago did it rain? A week?
5 days?
Yeah, it's been about 5 days.
Yeah.
So let's go out here and see if we can figure it out. So we have a few things that could be smoking guns, I guess you can say. One is there's a crack that runs along the wall of the house and along this piece of concrete that matches up with the asphalt. There's also a little bit there too. Over the years, it's more than obvious. Over the years, they have made a lot of attempts to keep this all patched. I could believe that during the rain, that the water went through these cracks and made it down into the foundation somehow. But why clean water? And why 5 days later? Why is it still happening? The rain was pretty good, but only for a short time. But it could be that it is allowing water to get down to the foundation, and for whatever reason, the foundation drain isn't taking care of it. But there's other things to be considered. The fact that it hasn't rained for 5 days makes me think that when it did rain, this downspout didn't drain. It didn't drain. It's blocked somewhere along the line. And since it was blocked, then the water is stored in a pipe that is slowly leaking into the basement through some sort of a small crack or a seam or a slip fit or something. Because If it's still leaking after 5 days after the last rain, then that means the water source is still supplying water. It could mean also, if you guys don't know this, that if the foundation drain is blocked in a spot that is along the wall here somewhere, that if it is leaking through all these cracks, it could be that the foundation has filled up a little bit and it is slowly releasing that fill up into the basement. It could also mean that our drain for our sink and our dishwasher, which that's this clean out right here, if it's leaking, that the water is being purified by the filtration of just going through substrate in the ground and into the house foundation finally. So that would mean that the water would actually, clean itself to some extent before it got into the basement, and it looks more clean than it really is. But what my guess is, my best guess, is that it's the downspout, and that's what I'm hoping. I think that anything that is leaked here, I don't think there's anything wrong with the foundation of the home and the way that it handles the water. And the reason I say that is because everywhere in this house, all the way around the perimeter, all along this wall, everywhere, the walls are perfect. There's no issue. There's no water coming in. There's no indication of water ever coming in. So that makes me think that the foundation was done correctly. The fact that this portion of the house has concrete over it just helps the foundation even that much more, getting rid of the water away from the house, as it doesn't want to stay here. Like if I poured a whole bunch of water here, it pretty much wants to leave out into the driveway and go somewhere else. It doesn't hang out near the house. However, this is the only thing that would cause a good foundation to allow water into the basement, and that is water that's being diverted off the roof and being interjected into the ground directly into the same exact corner that's leaking. There's just too much coincidence there. So what I'm going to do is look at this rain downspout, look down in there, see what I can see, and then we'll try to clean it out, maybe with a hose. But I have a sewer jetter that's coming probably in a week's time that I'll hook up to the pressure washer, and I can clean out all these lines if I want to at that point to make sure everything's good. But that's what I'm doing. It's a nice day. You can tell by my stuffiness that I'm still a little sick, and I have not been outside for it's been a week. I think it's been about a week that I haven't been outside, and I don't know. Most of the time I just laid in the house and slept, took over-the-counter medication and just slept. But it's that time of year. Hopefully this doesn't flare it up anymore. The other thing I got to be concerned with is at some point in time we're looking at the weather getting cooler. In about 3 days, we're going to be down to where there's a frost and a freeze. I don't think that it's going to be a hard freeze, but probably a frost. I need to definitely take care of these leaves before next Sunday, and just let you know that at the time of filming, today is Tuesday. Tuesday. So I have a few days, but the reason is once we're getting into Saturday, I've got to mow because we've got rain coming, and the last thing I want to do is mow and try to maintain wet leaves. The mower could probably do it, but I just don't want to deal with that myself. And the grass probably could get mowed. Maybe I can knock that out today, even possibly. But first things first, let me look at this. Let me look at this drain, see what I got going on.